Hello, everyone. Here we go. Can you hear everybody hear me? I got my good friend Destro here. We got two Destros in the house. This is a two Destro show.
There it is.
This was always a two Destro show, but
For
we
sure.
are just two Destros. It's only Destros allowed tonight.
Nice. I like it.
So, and mostly because I've actually planned the next 3 weeks, which is something. You can see they're all posted. We got a good
nice.
schedule of shows. Tonight we're going to be hitting the cartoon and our favorite episodes. This was the other Destro's idea here, aka Michael. Good idea. And then next week we are going to have on R.A. Rain. This is really weird, okay? I went to what's up, Destros? Yes. Hello. Ezekiel, hello. Oh, Paul Morales, as usual, doing the kind thing of calling out everybody, saying hello. Operative D, Happy Plague Doctor, Sean Jones, 375. GI Joe, Delta 17.
My dude, Riptide.
Plague Doctor, yeah. Riptide O'Leary, Ezekiel.
Nice. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah. Cook's They're gonna watch from the morning. Oh, good morning from this side of the globe. Oh, wow, it's the morning, huh? That's crazy. Lynn Green's gonna watch in the morning. Because it's late.
That's what's up.
But this is a really weird story. Okay, I had to tell you. Commander Unicron is here.
What up?
Hello, Copper Owl. Nice to see you all. So this is so weird. So I go to Disneyland last week, right? I'm in Disneyland. My son was in part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He's actually okay. He had a Joe. Thanks for coming. And I will be on your show very soon, coming soon.
Nice.
But so I go to Disneyland, right? I'm in Disneyland for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. My son was born with a heart condition, and he's in good shape now. He had heart surgery, but we had a Make-A-Wish. Had this big thing. They had the Avengers, and it was like all YouTubers. Like Mr. Beast was there. I met Mark Rober, Mr. Beast. A lot of people you probably don't know. I probably don't know. Like my son's wish was to hang out with some ghost hunters named Sam and Colby. I don't know. I'm not a 12-year-old. I don't know who they are.
Sure.
He met them. Met all these people. So I go to Disneyland for free, which was nice. I'm walking over, and what do I hear? A person taps on my shoulder and says, "Mark," and I go. Is that you, R.A.? R.A. Rain is standing right next to me. What are the chances that you have?
So crazy.
I'm talking about not only just like, is it like I live in Rhode Island. He lives near Disneyland. Just the chances that we would be at Disneyland the same day. But then he's literally standing right next to me. There's like 1 million people at Disneyland on a given day. Right.
So
weird.
Dude, the actual, I wonder what the actual odds on that would be. And
yes.
It's shit like that reminds you, like that saying, "It's a small world." It kind of is. But dude, yeah, because you guys are almost as far across the country as you could possibly get, right? Like he's literally on one side, you're all the way on the other. I think those odds are crazy, dude. And I could say a quick story that's very similar to that. So I remember one day I used to travel, and I was installing these security cameras for like the local grocery market that was around here, but they own stuff like kind of all over state. So I traveled. Anyway, I wind up working and wiring something in like this vestibule, and there's an electrician there because the store was under a remodel, and he and I get to talking, and just because he's listening to some metal music, but like some metal music that you don't just hear people usually playing in the open. It's like local from somewhere. Long story short, we start talking, and it turns out that even though he lives somewhere in Texas, I lived in upstate New York, and then somehow we wound up in this spot where interacting with each other. And as we started talking to each other, it turns out he and I were in the same place 3 different times in the last 6 weeks. 1 for a concert and 2 for work. We were in the same fucking buildings.
So
like
weird.
We started talking, and you know how when you're having that kind of a conversation with somebody, he has info that only a person there would know, right? The show, there was something, yeah. So it dude, that blew our mind. We were both like, So do we switch numbers and try to, in case something happens, like we're in the vortex, like what's going on? So for sure. But anyways, it is. No matter how big that world is, man, it is a small world, and that's awesome. I love seeing the picture, man. You guys looked happy.
Yeah. GI Joe Delt says, blood clot. I hope they can do more for your boy's heart. Yeah, he's good. He's actually good. He'll have to have surgery someday again, but it was like, we were dodging the surgery for all his life. He's 15. This is actually checks from the Diaper Island parody. And he's good now though, but and he had an amazing time. What Make-A-Wish Foundation is amazing. But yeah, so thank you, though. Thank you, GI Joe Delta. Commander Unicron, yes. No, so I don't think he did fix the Amazon issue, but you can get it through his website. Right? So, and he
Something
might
like
not
that.
be able to fix the Amazon issue because I think fixing the Amazon issue probably means getting Hasbro. And
Right.
Hasbro's a little cagey. So I don't know about that one. But you can get it from still. So if you want to read it, he's going to be on next week. And next week we're going to talk about what would a good GI Joe movie look like, because they are making a GI Joe movie, as we heard. This is the news, right?
That's exciting.
A GI Joe movie. Is it really?
Well, I look at it this way. It's fair to say I have said from the beginning that there is zero evidence that it's going to be good. Right? We have zero evidence that they're going to make something good. So, admittedly, but still, I'm a sucker for hope. So I'm ready to roll the dice, right? Just to say, hey, maybe it comes out good. But that's all it is. It's a literal dice roll with the odds stacked against you, right? Like it's not just a regular 6-sided die. There's like 2 sides on it, and you don't know what's going to happen. But zero evidence that it's going to be good. I mean, sure. Again, the cartoon movie doesn't count because that's a cartoon. But as far as the live action go, I just don't know. I mean, I have gone back and watched that newer Snake Eyes movie. So I've watched it like 2 times. One time, like really watching it, and it's definitely like a good movie. It's just I hate that they pass off that is the Snake Eyes origin story. It's just bonkers.
It has nothing to do with Snake Eyes. It's like
but out of all the origin stories to change a little bit, right? This is not the one. This is the one it's got a perfect backstory and just so but when I look at that and I go, well, if they just did it like this, it would have been much better. But I don't know. So I'm just holding out hope and who knows what it's gonna bring.
You know what's really sad about that is they were gonna do, if it had been successful, which had no shot. I mean, it was like, first of all, it came out during COVID. So I was like, how the hell is that even gonna like? But it was supposed they were gonna do a whole series. And do you know there was a Lady J TV show in plan? Amazon was gonna put out a Lady J TV show. Do you remember that? A Lady J TV show was gonna come out. It would have been her like kind of mission, like a reacher, but like it's Lady J. How fucking awesome would have that been? Holy shit.
That would have been awesome. I mean, because she's such a badass character. I don't. How long ago was that?
About 5 years ago. Yeah.
No shit.
Is when the Snake Eyes. Well, I actually don't know. I'm bad with time. But Snake Eyes movie came out. They were talking about it. How amazing would that be? Yeah. So Ezekiel has got some ideas for next week. Very nice, very nice. I think we all have some good ideas about how to make. They should ask us because we'd make a much better movie than they will.
100%. You ain't lying.
Yeah, the Motu movie is actually causing a lot of like. They greenlit. Do you know like Voltron's coming out? GI Joe's coming out. Thundercats movies coming out, and this is like if Motu does well, these things will come out. If Motu flops, I don't know that we're going to see any of these. I think this will kill. We get a shot. I feel like it was 2020. Michael Foley says
it does feel like a canary in the coal mine. No, like if it doesn't do good, then they're gonna just be like, yeah. I mean, the trailers make me hopeful, but imagine like we've all been suckered by a movie with the trailers. You see the perfect trailer and you're like, yo, this is gonna be great. You go and then you walk out saying every other literal moment besides the trailer was awful. Like they got me, and that's not that uncommon. So I just hope that's not the case. Yeah, it definitely looks like in GI Joe Retaliation 2013, and then they changed it up to 20. Yeah, in 2021 they were looking at starting a show. That's
Wow.
crazy. How about that?
Barking Fridge says Lioness on Amazon was basically the Lady J show. Hey, you never know. Like, did they even like say, okay, this is a flop, but did they like rename it and didn't pay the
So
fee? You know, who knows? You know, but I don't even know what Lioness is. Never heard of that, but I'll have to check it out.
let's see. I'm trying to, because the internet, you can't just click on something and have them give you the actual story, right? They gotta sucker you in for like a half hour.
Yeah, Voltron's
Yeah.
with Henry Cavill, so that's a big
Oh,
movie. That's a good movie. Like everybody loves that guy.
whoa.
He's great.
Okay. Yeah, no, awesome. I feel like, and I think a lot of people, that Superman movie that he does, that's my favorite Superman movie. Hell, I think
Oh
that's
yeah.
one of the best comic book movies. That shit is butter. I felt like how they did that part with Russell Crowe being his dad in the beginning. I mean, I don't know how true that is to say whatever the comic book is or whatever, but I know when I watched it, I was like, yo, this is awesome. And I liked it. I thought it was good. I watched it recently actually, and it totally is great. And even like how they kind of wrap it up like towards the end. Usually movies like that start out, skyrocketing, looking awesome, and then somewhere along the way they just dud for the rest of it. And that wasn't. I thought that how they did, him being, when the military came in, he was like, all right, I'll surrender to you guys. And they put him in the handcuffs, and he was just like, if it makes him feel safer, I mean, fine, whatever. All that. Yeah, I thought that was great. So that does make me hopeful. Plus, he is into like like he's a big Warhammer guy, right? Isn't he the guy? I think so. I feel like he's actually out there enjoying it, which I'm not gonna lie. I look at those Warhammer things, and it's basically just like miniature mechs. That shit is interesting as hell. I could see that being pretty awesome for sure. Like, there's a lot of stuff, man. I got to turn my eye away from. There's like the Joy Toy and the Hayas,
geez, I know,
and the Acid Rain are just like, oh my god, these are GI Joe adjacent, but they're just totally off the hook. I have a hard time
Acid
saying
Rain
no
show
to.
looks incredible. The
Oh,
Acid Rain 6-inch, those look
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
GI Joe Delta says, I can't wait for the new GI Joe movie. Lungs down to their origin movie, ruining characters. Agreed. By the way, GI Joe Delta. So you're Delta 17 fan? I don't know much about him, but I'm a fan. I like Toy Connections, who's the guy that made it. He seems like a good dude. I like his YouTube. And but I'm actually working on the mythology of Operation Recall. That might be up your alley as you're a 3 3/4 inch guy.
Okay.
GI Joe 66 Delta. And that is, of course, Operation Recall is the thing that is all created by the original creators of GI Joe. So I'll be working on that soon, probably next few weeks. It usually takes me a couple of weeks to do these because they're a little bit like heavy on the research and writing. But yeah, I'm working on that Operation Recall. I've been talking to Carson from 3D Joe's, who's a great guy.
Awesome.
But
that's awesome.
But yeah, so how good would a fucking Lady J TV show? It probably wouldn't have been good. But I'm just saying, concept wise, I think it would have been good. That's one of those things where a week by week like Reachers type TV show to me feels like a low ask. Like I wouldn't have to. It didn't have to blow me away. It would just be like if it was like some sort of mission of the week, Quantum Leap kind of. Spy or like what's the spy lady show? Alias. If it was like that, and
yes,
Lady J,
something.
It wouldn't have to be that good.
It would be great.
It could have been a 3, and I'd be like thrilled.
Right. I mean, I feel like also that that you almost I would want to count on greed winning out with, say, the executives, in a sense that if they look at what GI Joe is, it is a vast universe, right? Look at the gold mine that they hit with the Marvel universe. You could easily do that. Now, obviously, if you look at what's in the Marvel universe, technically there's probably way more characters and stuff, but GI Joe is GI Joe is plentiful, right? I mean, if you seriously go looking, there's fucking forget about it. And I mean, plus you have like very rich lead characters like Cobra Commander, Destro, do shit like that. But I feel like if they just tapped into the idea that they could make a series of movies, but then also have a bunch of television shows, even dudes like you could do a whole show on like Shockwave, for instance, right? Sure, you have him in the real movie, but what he is he leads the urban assault on Cobra wherever they're hiding, right? And then, but you have a whole series on that, how he grew up, what the backstory is, and most of them like have it in place. You just go to the file card and then you look at the comic book or the amalgamation of all that, the third with the with the cartoon, the comic file card, and you just put it together and you say, here you go, here's your, and I don't know, I feel like you could make so much freaking money off it, and I was hoping the greedy pricks would just be like, yeah, let's do this and just make it sort of good, and I'd be happy with that.
Now I think it's pretty far-fetched to think we would get like a great, it would be so mind-blowing that it would match like Marvel, obviously, because Marvel's much bigger. But I would say though, if you remember, like when part of my brain goes, yeah, that it wouldn't happen. But then I go back and you remember 20 years ago, there was no good Marvel movies. There was like the original Spider-Man, and there was a run of, and there was like Blade, and every other Marvel movie sucked. And you were like, they're never going to be able to nail it. Because I was a big comic book dork, growing up. I'm like, they're never going to nail this. They're never going to make a good comic book movie. And now then they like kind of figured it out, and they made this like amazing world. And then they amped up characters like Guardians of the Galaxy, which was a shitty comic book. That was like not a great comic book. Then all of a sudden, comes out and it's like, that sounds like my favorite movies. Hey, Mike, sorry you're not feeling good. But I think the cool thing, so it is, so you never know. It really is like a good movie. I think the key is you need a really good, like when you think of all the good movies, how they broke out, they usually have like a really great director. Like in Iron Man 1 is Jon Favreau, and I think he's like proven to be like a really good filmmaker.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Mandalorian, made Swingers, or he wrote Swingers, and then you have like Lord of the Rings, and it's Peter Jackson. They have like a visionary. They're hiring these like Z-lister dudes who you've never heard of, who make like shitty movies. Like the guy that made Origins had made, I forget what he made before Snake Eyes Origins, but it wasn't great.
Right.
It was not good.
And it's like handing over the keys to a Lamborghini to some like 13-year-old kid and hoping he doesn't crash it into the side of the on the side of the road for sure.
Yeah.
I think to ask that we get good character development that plays good homage to what we consider to be like the canon to some degree, as well as getting like decent action with it. I feel like we can maybe get one or the other, but you could still do it. You could have big explosions and have it be action packed, and then just like if you're not going to dive into a character, then just make them like visually look like they're, what I mean? Just like, here's what he looks like in the comic book. Make the dude look like that, but live action. And then if you're not going to dive into his backstory, at least when you look at him, you go, oh yeah, there's the guy. So and it's the basic plot, like and this especially goes to the episodes we're about to talk about, like the basic plot of what GI Joe is a struggle of good versus evil. It's the evil guys are always scheming one way or the other, not to just win these little wars. These motherfuckers are going for the throat every time. We want the whole world every time. And I feel like the dynamic of that is they tried and true. It never got boring. So all you got to do is come up like it was the second live action movie, The Retaliation, where they took over the satellites that had like the steel eye beams in space and they were just dropping. I thought that was awesome. that is a ultimate Cobra weapon. That is exactly what they would scheme and put a dude in the White House to get control of that for. I could see that just perfectly. So give us something like that. Crying out loud.
Stefan Herzog, which nice icon there. It's the Warriors, the big Warriors fan. Dude, during COVID, we had these two dudes that always claimed they had it consistently, so we nicknamed them COVID Commander and COVID Stro. I've had COVID 6 times, I think now. Personally, really? Yeah, I had it 6 times. It was only once that it even like wasn't that big of a deal. Obviously, it's different for everybody, but like I had it, but now it's like the people who are like worried about it. I mean, unless you have like issue, I guess you could worry about it.
But, I mean, for sure. Dude, I surprisingly never caught it. There was one time.
Did, and you probably just like there are people who like the first time I got it. The only reason I even know I had it was because my wife at the time, all of my kids had it, but my son, that's genetically almost my identical person,
right,
and me, we did not even feel it at all. And but we took a test. The only reason we took a test was because the other three people had it. My other son, who's like more of a mix of mom and me, and then
Okay.
my ex-wife almost died. Like she was like dying, and she'd never get sick. And then
Okay.
my daughter, they all got it, but me and I barely felt it. It was really weird.
That's
But I
interesting.
think if you think you never had it, there's a very good chance you might have, and it just didn't do anything to you.
My wife got it and was deathly ill, and
Yeah.
she quarantined upstairs, and somehow me and the kids didn't get it. We were testing, like we had stacks of tests, and it was like every day, and basically anytime she would come downstairs, I'd spray Lysol all around her as she walked, and then just spray in any surface that she touched, and went back upstairs and did it, and we that went on for she was ill for a couple days. And then I couldn't believe it. We kept testing, and again, I don't, who knows how it works. We probably could have given it to somebody, but for some reason, it was testing negative. And then there was like not that long ago, like 3 months ago, I was ill for like 3 days, and I didn't even think to get tested, but it was like there was a couple people that I knew. Anyway, who
There's
knows
no
what it
reason to
was.
get tested anymore. But
Right,
the
right,
dude that directed Bumblebee is now directing No. Yeah, I mean, I think if he pulls off Motu, man, I think that would be incredible. I like Joe, Real American Heroes idea here. Make it gritty. If
yes.
Tarantino hit Robert Ryan, I'd be all for that. Lots of feet. There'd be lots of feet everywhere.
Not feet everywhere. Well, isn't it?
Baroness
It's
feet.
like the little diagram where it says, knowing is half the battle, the other half is extreme violence. These guys they're killers, right? That's the thing, like about Snake Eyes too. It's like they're killers. Obviously, in the cartoon, they miss every single time, right? That you don't see it. They kill the bats, they hit the bats, and that's it. But like, yeah, taking the idea that if they're truly out there saving the world against the most ruthless terrorist organization, they're killing people, and a lot of them. to stop shit from happening. So yeah, I'm all for that. As much as I mean, I think is it fair to say that most likely we're capped on how much grittiness we're going to get based on if they want to make toys for this or not? You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I feel like there's probably a tether put to how gritty we could get, which is sort of a bummer.
Yeah.
Because I think that they could make something like, Call Sign Smash says, Inglorious Bastards, but 80s Joe themed. Sold.
Amazing. Yeah.
I am sold, bro. Oh my God. Orskizio says, Baroness feet. I mean,
Well, I'm
that
down with
was,
that. Whatever. Any
that's it.
body part of the Baroness is good for me.
We are a one-way ticket to Woods porn, I can tell.
Or Ezekiel, yeah, we always are. Or Ezekiel mentioned we're already on to next week. You're correct. We're on next week's topic for some reason. Let's get into this week's topic. Although before we do, I gotta like pickups. Let's do the hand. I got a couple pickups. I know you probably got more than I. One, okay. I am actually very much a He-Man fan, and this Moss Man. This is the new Eternia Moss Man. Damn, this thing is awesome, man. He's got like a weird, grass growing hand. He's really incredible. This is like a real kind of myth. Like I hope this is how they do Moss Man in the movie.
That is cool.
Super cool. But okay, the other ones I got two. I don't know if anybody else picked these up. Actually, saw somebody here said they got these. Anybody else pick up two most recent releases? And that would be, here we go. Gangstar 8003, Zanya, and the biggest piece of shit vehicle in the entire classified line. As you can see, as I picked it up, the ski fell off. The turd that is the swamp skier, and Zanya. And so I don't know. Anybody else? Did you get this thing? Zanya is pretty good. I mean, I love Zanya as a character, so I was like thrilled to get her. Any Dreadnought is to me good, but
For sure, I agree.
I really, really love the character Zanya because her origin story is really interesting. Like she's, if you guys know, but it's Devil's Due, so it's not technically canon. But her idea is like she's Zartan's daughter, and then she like goes to meet Daddy. and she's got this abusive boyfriend who makes her like cage fight men. And she can kick his ass,
Oh,
but
Jesus.
she cage fights men because she's Zartan's daughter. She can kick their ass. And then you find out her backstory is that like she was getting abused by her stepfather, and so she burned her like trailer down or her house down and killed her mother and stepfather. And then she goes to meet Zartan, and then Zartan like actually takes her out as a daughter. He fights her first. She tries to fight him. He kicks her ass, but then she's like, he puts her in this situation where she basically has to kill her boyfriend, and she does. So he kind of like frees her from her abusive boyfriend, and they have this like one moment where they kind of like show love for each other. So I like love this character. She's a good figure. The design is great. Weapons are exactly Copperhead, so it's a little boring, and she kind of sucks in a lot of ways because okay, first of all, you can't put her. She's got that like Copperhead has this thing. She can't put that on her back and put her cool hair on.
Oh,
she can put this stupid thing on, but who the hell want? I'm not going to make troop build a female dreadnought troop builder for $60 when there's no way nobody's troop building Zanya troop builders for $60. That was dumb. Hello, War Chest. Okay.
What up, War Chest?
The skier is horrible. This thing, yes. The skier is so bad.
That's so disappointing.
So I don't know.
True disappointing.
Yeah, please 3D print me a swamp skier that isn't this one. First of all, the swamp skier should break apart and be able to be put in a little basket like Zartan. Right?
Yes.
All right. What do you think of this?
They said on the last live stream that when they were showing off the ramp rats, that the box that comes inexplicably, the box that comes with the ramp rats was supposed to be able to take stuff from that and put it in there. And I just said, I don't know why in the world you would do that. They don't even belong together, right? Oh, yeah. The box that comes from supposed to be on the tarmac in a Cobra base also goes into the swamp. Like it just seemed so absurdly ridiculous, which GI Joe is absurdly ridiculous, but not like this. I don't know. I thought that was crazy. And like I'm looking at it in your hand right there, and it does look cheesy, sort of. Yeah. God, what's the word I'm looking for here? Cheap. I guess cheap.
It's first of all, it's $60. You get this figure and this vehicle's she barely, if you can see, she doesn't look right on it. It's too big. And it's just like, let me see, like here, it's too big. She doesn't fit on it very well or sit on it very well. And it's just like a blocky, junky piece. Like you see how like all that's molded? Like that should be removable shit. Like you should be able to pull this apart. You should see the sides. It's just like a big block. The only cool, it's got the storage in it, so you can lift this up and like. But that's it. It's so like lacking detail. It's like the worst vehicle they've ever made. But in my opinion, yeah.
Huh. Wow, that's crazy.
It's not good. And it's
so
for $60, man. It's like.
So I don't have mine yet. I'll tell you a quick funny story. So like most people, we were burn victims of Walmart the other day, right? So first things first, they dropped too early the listing for the Varmint, Snake Eyes Varmint, and Elite Viper Trouble Bubble, as well as the next Legacy figure, which I can't remember exactly what that is. Do we even know what that is? I don't know. But the Trouble Bubble thing is, they didn't even have it listed. It was just the listing for their code name and everything, and they dropped it on the website. And then while canceling everybody's Dukes, another pre-order winds up out today, which I missed that one too. So listen, it's not that I really wanted the figure, but I did have like a trade in place. Somebody had a Ninja Force Zartan. I had two Dukes. I was going to give up. I got one for somebody that wasn't going to be able to make it, and then my other one, the one that I had, I was just going to trade for Ninja Force Zartan. And now I can't do that. So I was definitely like, at first, I was definitely like, F you, Walmart. Yeah. Like, hey, what? How can you be like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, retailer in the world, and for some reason you can't you can't get this right. Like, and how off do you have to be to randomly just cancel? Because listen, I don't know, just by looking on the Twitter timeline yesterday, it was flooded with people that were like, yeah, they canceled all my Duke orders. Like, how many did you cancel? Like, what was the percentage? Who actually gets this figure? Anyways, the point, more to the point, is on Pulse. Like the very next day, I actually went to go cancel my Zanya. I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna wait and see if that pops up on clearance because I'm just not that interested in it. Yes, do I want another Dreadnought? Sort of, but I was like, it's $60. I actually don't want it. So I went to cancel that. I canceled the order for that I had on Pulse, and then all of a sudden, I get like an hour later, I got a notification that Zanya had shipped and my Ramp Rats had been canceled. Now, honestly, I may not be great with tech, but I'm not an absolute moron. I didn't cancel the Ramp Rats. I canceled the Zanya for sure. And yeah, so that was a little disappointing. I mean, I think I can still get the Ramp Rats. It's fine. None of it's like, so I mean, I definitely want to set a Ramp Rats to put up with the Rattler. Oh, because I don't want to take over your whatchamacallit.
Oh yeah, we'll go to Operative D says, as an employee of Walmart, I do not condone the actions of my employers. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, my other pickup. So again, like the other thing is, by the way, like I don't know where you guys buy your shit from, but I had pre-ordered everything from Big Bad Toy Store, and they didn't ship it. And then yesterday, I'm looking on GI Joe Classified on Amazon. Amazon's like, you can get it tomorrow. So I went in. I'm just like, well, why am I buying shit from Big Bad? So I just can't. Like it's annoying. It's like they should be getting the shit on time. So I canceled it and I ordered it. Now I have the things in hand one day. I know it's Walmart, it's Amazon. It kind of blows, but well, not really. I mean, Amazon is like we all want to complain, but Amazon does kind of rule. Let's face facts.
Yeah, dude. But anyway, I have stories. Yeah, for sure.
I got this guy. I like it. First of all, the armor on his face isn't great, but other than that, I will say, oh, this thing is great. The claws, the articulation on this dinosaur is great.
Nice.
I love him with he's got both. I only got one of them, but you got the Dr. Rockclaw head. But I actually dig the Paraviper head more. So for me right now, I'm going to keep him as a Paraviper. But I'd like to get two of them. But they're $50. It's $54. So getting like 2 or 3 of them. I would like to have 3, but 150, 160, $70 is not really feeling good to me. But pretty great. This guy I love. No complaints except for the really shitty armor. I mean, you could just leave the armor off, which I think is what I'm going to do. Because, like, for me, if you're playing with this thing, that thing's going to come off. Like, the armor on his face, it's just going to come off, like, all the time. So that's not fun. My kids are going to love this thing, though. They're going to be, like, all about it. But, yeah, so this clips on is, like, jaw. But it's just, like, it's dangling. And then you just, like, if you hit it once, it's going to fall right off.
Right.
This should snap in. If anything, it should snap into place. And it just doesn't. It just not in a way that's going to hold. That's a little bit of a disappointment because that's cool, but you have to glue it on if anything. But yeah, that's my take. Nice. Anyway, I don't know if anybody saw the others. Those are my pickups, but the figure is great. So I think Dr. Rockclaw is a great figure. And it's great to have a couple of them because, but they're too expensive. Other than
for sure.
I'm okay with him. But yeah, all right. What'd you get? What are your pickups? And then we'll get into the main topic here.
Well, I finally put my Dragonfly together just the other day. So, I mean, it ain't nothing new. Most people already knows what this looks like, but I'm thoroughly impressed. I did not know, like, I don't know. I saw it put together at that dude's house locally that I bought some stuff from, and he had it like a bunch of stuff around it. So I didn't really get a chance to appreciate it fully. But just like the Rattler and those figures, my brother Dan Celsato, curator Dan Flex, found that got it from the same guy, he got the Rattler figures from, I think. And it was for a very fair price. and he bought it, mailed it up to me. So now I'm now it was figureless, but the price was just right for sure. It was nice enough to grab it for me, and I do have one of the figures though. So I had the ripcord, and if you look at that helmet, that works for me. So I mean, I'll get that
That's a
retro
great
Wild
helmet.
Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe even the Crazy Legs if I can get it. So my dude Spec Op Toys, he prints these little jammies now. They're
Oh
this
wow.
is yeah. This was $50 shipped.
Damn.
So yeah, I actually it was the first thing I ever got from. I could have got this one and the green version for the Joes for only 30 more bucks, and I passed on it like an absolute idiot because these are nice. Now, when you get it up super close, it's clearly 3D printed, but to put it right next to the Rattler with the ramp rats, deliver it. Look, bomb comes off, so I think I can put the front wheel of the Rattler on here and have it taxiing it across the runway, if you know what I'm saying. I'm that's what I'm aiming for. I mean, honestly, it's there is a lot of detail up in here though. For $50 shipped, it's a steal. He also 3D printed a Wolverine, his Wolverine, all black, 788 on it, the red missiles and stuff, and it's pretty good. Now it's like I generally will only buy my vehicles from like Mo's Mind, maybe a Gridiron drone. Like these $60 Gridiron drones are actually not that bad, but I usually get my stuff from Mo. That one, I'm pretty sure that's what he's selling them to everybody for is 50. And I was like, you know what, that one to just have that, because I made one out of a well, I don't know what I did with it, but I had like a Buzz Lightyear toy that I like cut the top off of it. And when you sat a trooper in there, it had this little winch on the back. And the winch was you could hold a Cobra claw up so the lady could put it on her back, right? And it was fine, but I definitely wanted something that looked a little bit more official. So that is what I got there. Pretty happy about that. So now the only figures I've bought in a minute are these. They were all on sale. I got them through links to my brother Popco Frenzy. I got Storm Shadow version 2.
Oh, great figure. Yeah. It's one of the
Very
best.
great figure.
I love that.
I don't know what I don't know what it was when I looked at pictures of him. I was kind of like, it didn't do anything for me. I was like, yeah, I'll get it eventually. And finally it dropped below $20, I think is what it was. It was like 19 and change. And I said, all right, I'm pulling the trigger. And I'm pleasantly surprised. I think it's fantastic. Same goes for this guy right here, the Red Ninja. So I, like an idiot, bought one of these off of eBay, but wasn't paying enough attention to the listing, and the foot was broke. It said it in the listing when I went back and looked. It was. I just got so excited, saw $18 shipped. I didn't even look. He was not trying to hide it either. I have to be honest. I just was not paying attention. Yeah. So what I liked about this guy is not only does he come with like a bunch of stuff, it all stores basically. So if you keep 2 things in his hands, he's got I'm sure you could change it around. The long sword right here on the hip. I got this one in the back along with these 2. I'm not even sure what these are called. They're like mini size or something like that. And then the actual size themselves are and the figures. The figure is really cool. That like chest thing that he's got going on there. I don't know, man. I really dig it. Yeah, I'm totally digging it. Yeah,
he's underrated. People don't like it because it's like a very odd design, but to me, it was like the first one. It was like an early cool like upgrade. You know what I mean? It's had a cool face mask like look to him, and he's just packed with weapons. He was like the first one that came out with that just was loaded.
I'm glad that you like it too, because I had it sitting right here I opened it up on Saturday night, and the whole time I had it sitting right there on my laptop, and I was like, dude, what the hell? This thing is so awesome. And I just even just sitting here now looking at it, I'm like, yeah, man, this thing is the shit. So and then the last one I got finally, this one I think was down to $22, but seeing as how who knows? I don't think we know it's coming, but we just maybe don't know when. I don't want to all of a sudden have to pay 50 for this guy because the moccasin came out and the price of it's I gotta admit, it's dope. You know how I feel. You've heard me say it a bunch of times. I just can't handle the shirtless dudes, but kind of like Gung Ho, this guy gets away with it because he just looks so dope.
Yeah, he's white trash, right? So he kind of needs that. It makes sense for him.
A real shirt. I think that you know what, brother? I think that probably plays into it. That in my mind, I know if he put a shirt on, he wouldn't be this guy anymore, right? With
Yeah,
with the exception of the Python Patrol one, that
that's
does look very good, but it doesn't really like I'm looking at it right now. It's I can see that as somebody else. It's Copperhead's buddy, right? That's not Copperhead. This is Copperhead, and that's his like cousin or some shit like that. So I think that I got same dude, Dan Salcedo, sent me his hood. He bought two of these figures and then
looks
he
fun.
just sent me so he
Oh, the
got
hood.
so he got the two Soldier of Fortune figures so he could put the Tomax and Zaymot heads on the
Oh shit. Okay,
suited body. So
that's a
he
good
had an extra
call.
one. Yeah, no, actually, he got an extra one of these. He sent it to me. The gentleman is too kind to me all the time, for sure. And dude, if you're ever looking for something interesting to watch, it's all it's unboxing stuff, but his channel is pretty interesting because the dude bought shit for 5 straight years and never opened any of it because he was moving into a new
Oh yeah.
house. And so it all sat there, and finally he moved. And one day he was like, "Dude, I think I just want to get started, but I want to wait till I get these cabinets." And I was like, "Nah, don't do that. Just start." And he did, and he does a good job. He wears these nice white gloves, shows you everything. There's a real nice. It's good. It's good. So, and he's a seriously solid guy. Curated in place. But now from on Saturday or Friday when Laser Pants was on, I launched something new from Mo's Mind. He's going to be doing a whole new line called Mags, and that's Mo's Armament, Gear, and Supply. And what this guy has right here is a sling.
Wow.
So
Nice.
there's a void. Now I'm gonna just because I don't want to blatantly hold that one up there. I'll pull like this right up. So I've got that's a black one.
Thanks.
This is a brown one. There's a green one. Yeah, they come for there's 2 loops and one goes on like the barrel, one goes on the stock, but you can take them both. What I did, because this also looks cool, is you just loop it together like that. Oh, it's not going to stay unless I cinch it, but it's got working tri-glides and all that little black 3D printed tri-glides, and then you can cinch it right up how I had it on there. Now these were the test runs. The ones that everybody's going to get are a little bit bigger, but I got a bunch of these, and dude, I fucking love them. I think it's what three for $20, but use that Destro Designs 10 promo code to get you a couple dollars off. And
Nice.
Dude, I've been wanting these for so long. But also, this isn't it. There's a whole bunch more coming, like slings and all kinds of web gear and everything that you need for your toy photography. But that he's still doing the vehicles. So if anybody wants the vehicles, I got something sent to me. My brother Chris from Sis 3D Arsenal. I bought 2 new jerry cans. He makes good ones, and I have like 2 of them like in the Cobra, with the Cobra mechanic set, and I wanted 2 of them to go over with the Joe set. It's all pretty affordable stuff. And then I don't know. Oh hell, I won't know where the Joe one is. I got 3 new laptops from him, and one of them is I don't know where the green one went. So this one here is is good to go with the Hiss, but it's a laptop, and it looks like an actual rugged laptop, right? I don't know. I like the way that look is. Good case on it. But this one he sent, especially, I don't even think this is on the website, sent this one for me. It is a
nice.
788 chemical case. So and the cool thing is those inserts come out so I could put like anything in there. It's all like a lot of stuff. And they actually lock too, right? So I could flip this handle up and then it actually locks. It's crazy. Yeah, that's pretty dope. I got I think I showed you this maybe last week. Now I think about it.
That thing is amazing. It's 3.0. Yeah, I love that
Yeah,
shit. I gotta
it's
get
really good. It's
they
really
make
good.
a Pimp Daddy Destro that I gotta get.
Oh yes, and actually it's popping. It's the price has been driven down.
Yeah, it's only like 130, which honestly is not bad for that kind of figure.
Right. That's it.
Oh, all right. I wanted to show you. Oh yeah, sorry. If you're
nope, that's it.
Oh, nice.
So companion sign. My brother CG Horror made this Destro design sign, but Chaz from GI Customs made that Viper Den Studios and sent that to me. So shout out to Chaz. Great shit. He's got a lot of really good. That's the dude who printed that 5.5 foot long Night Raven with the drone.
Oh wow, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Got some water cans.
We will
Yep,
be
yep,
hitting the actual topic in like 5 minutes.
yep. And then a
But
coaster.
oh,
That's
nice.
it. Yep,
All
that's
right,
it.
I gotta point this out. I was the first sent out by TV Anchor Viper for TV Cobra, I believe. So, and what you're gonna see is this is the TV, which
Oh,
actually has Anchor
mine's
Viper
upstairs.
on
Shit.
it. It has episodes here. You can see that. This is classified style TV. Very cool. You can see that. It's been loaded
Uh,
with like MP4s, that have Anchor Viper's material on it. So this is
so
all from the
nice.
Kickstarter. This is wild. I love this thing. This is a great for display for classified figures. It also came with this very cool like dossier here.
That dossier is amazing.
Yeah. And then all kinds. I haven't looked through it that much yet. Some
Everybody's gonna
posters.
love this stuff.
I have one of these already.
Those are so awesome.
This was
They're
actually right
so
there. You
awesome.
can see it's actually right on my wall. But yeah, very cool. A bunch of stuff. If you gave to the Kickstarter that you got, really wild stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
I opened mine earlier because right before we came on, I was with the softball team getting our team pictures taken. So I opened up mine. The first thing I took out was the set of wanted posters, and then everything was wrapped so nice, and it had like little stickers on the wrappings for each individual thing.
yeah.
Dude, that dossier is some really cool shit, right?
Yeah. So the TV, what is the price? It was like a Kickstarter, so you
Yep.
can't quite buy it. I don't think you
I
had to.
think the TV
I feel like it was 125, like
125.
for the
Yep.
whole, like not just. It was more like not the
Well, for
price of
the
the item, but that was
that
like you got a bunch of stuff and it was a Kickstarter, or Patreon.
right.
Patreon, I don't remember. No,
Dude,
Kickstarter. It was Kickstarter.
no, it was a Kickstarter, and
Yeah,
that's what it was. That there was
yeah.
a tier where I think we had the same tier. It was 125. You got the TV, the dossier. There's a bunch of stickers. There's a whole bunch of stuff that it's actually all very creative and very cool. And that's what I liked about it from the beginning. I remember when Anchor Viper was talking about it, and what struck me most was like, yeah, there were a bunch of dudes who grew up with like physical media, right?
Yes,
Where we
yeah.
got CDs with shit. So this is what really made it worth the money. To me, it was the biggest selling point. And whenever I talked about it, that's what I always said. So yeah, dude, I feel like a tool that I didn't bring my box down here. Oh my god, I think I told her I was gonna do.
Very cool. Oh, so Operative D is an executive producer. Very nice. Yeah, it's really cool stuff. Also supporting your friend. Anchor Viper will be on in 2 weeks. We are finally locked down to do the GI Joe's horniest moments, which I've been trying to do for about 5 months now at this point.
Right.
But I'm not waiting for Anchor Viper because it's just you need Anchor Viper. You're going to do that. Destro will be there. We'll both be there, but we will have. So I think if you're waiting for your shipment, it's probably coming to you right now. You should next couple of days. I think she's just finished.
Yep.
Everything's being shipped out. So you should be good. But yeah, all right, let's get into it. So you can throw in the chat what you think. What are your favorite episodes? I've got a bunch queued up. We could talk about a few different things. The favorite episodes, our favorite characters. I'll tell you who's not my favorite character. This is going to be like a little shocking. So let's start with favorite characters. Who's your favorite character in the cartoon, would you say?
Wow. I mean, I know he didn't come around till season 2, but I did really like Beachhead and Lowlight. I thought that they were both. Those, I'd have to say those are probably my favorite, tied for first. Obviously,
Lowlight has like one of the greatest episodes of all time. That really defines him, I think. And that's Nightmare Assault.
Nightmare Assault. What a name, too.
Wild. This is the Freddy Krueger, of. Yes, is this live? We are live. Yes. We do this once a week, pretty much. We're every Monday night. We're usually here. Miss everyone every once in a while, but usually I'm here on Monday. We're both here on Monday.
It's fun.
Usually with somebody else. 2, usually it's you and I, at least.
Right.
And then 1 or 2 other people. But yeah, this is live. this is one of the best episodes of all time. This kind of defines him. It's just like it's like disturbing, right? So
Yes.
good.
Yes, I remember thinking for as a kid, you don't know what's not good for kids necessarily, right? It's not until you
Yeah.
get a little older when you look back and you go, and I'm not saying that was bad for kids, but it's
Hmm.
definitely like when you watch it, you're like, that's some crazy shit right there. But it's real stuff, and I think sometimes when you have something like that in a cartoon, I think that imagine the kid that is actually having issues like this or has a dickhead dad or there's always something that's relatable. There is one kid out there that at least goes, oh, you know what? I'm not the only one that's going through this in life. Like, so I think when it's all, that's why I like that show, Big City Greens, where like the mom was in jail and like all they were kind of dirty farmers and living in the city. I don't know. There was a lot of things that played out in there, but yeah, no, this is a crazy episode. And Nightmare Assault is such a heavy duty name. You know what I mean? For a cartoon.
What I love about it is that ending, he just like, you have Dr. Mindbender basically doing Freddy Krueger shit. He's going to their dreams, he's terrifying him, and he's just like, yeah, I have nightmares every day of my life. I don't care, because my father was like, and the implication is his father was horrifically abusive.
Right.
And it's like, yes, this is one of the darkest episodes. The darkest, I gotta admit, I am kind of into the darkest episodes. But
so yeah, a lot of mine are just ones that stick out. Like I can't, but like the ones that through the year I can remember them like in great detail. The ones that really jammed out. But there's a lot of wild ones, for sure.
I gotta address this comment here. Henry says, "Yeah, I'm far too drunk to accept DIMSA on a Sunday." You are really drunk because it's fucking Monday, dude. It's definitely fucking Monday. I went to work today. I work at school. We're not open on a Sunday. I got news for you, man. It's fucking Monday. But I'll join you, in a few minutes probably. But who's Mark Bagley? Why are we talking about Mark Bagley?
I don't know.
No idea what's going on. But a good comment. Good comment. Anyway, it's definitely fucking Monday. Melted Copper. I was wondering where you were, man.
Right.
What happened?
Right. Good. Welcome in, brother.
Yeah, Nightmare Assault is just an awesome, absolute, incredible episode here. We have and that does sort of define him. My favorite character of the cartoon is, of course, Shipwreck. But I think I've established, and the reason I think Shipwreck is the best character is because he's an asshole, and it's like almost unheard of in cartoons,
right?
To have an asshole good guy, right? It's like,
there's
where else other than the only other thing I can think of is in Humanoids. Same writer, both were written by Buzz Dixon, and well, I mean, he like with other people, but I think he created the Augur character who's an asshole.
Oh, right.
Voice, great voice. Duke has a great voice,
for sure.
Great voice, but
maybe
he's a miserable asshole, and Shipwreck is he's an asshole. He's like a real he's the horniest character in all of GI Joe. He's just like every woman. Michael Foley there. We know your favorite character is. He is. Yes, he is that's why he's the best character, because he's one of the only assholes. It's like if you look at like most of these IPs, these stories, most of the heroes are really bland. Right? Like if you look at
Raphael, Ninja Turtles is kind of
a
little bit. But in a almost endearing way, right?
Steven Joe, was Grimlock an asshole? Was Grimlock mentally disabled? That was what I thought. That he just was like, I don't know what I don't know what the politically correct term is. I'm not using the really unpolitically correct term, notice. But whatever it is, that's what I thought Grimlock was. He was on the slow side, right? But I didn't think he was an asshole. None of the Transformers are all bland,
Right. Well, look what they did to Bazooka. That the first 5 episodes, he didn't speak. He responded everyone. He didn't even respond to shit half the time. And when he did, it was like, and it was like because I've recently watched a lot of those early episodes and I like in chronological order. And I remember being like, after like the third appearance he made, I was like, oh, they're trying to tell us something about this man. Like
He's slow.
right. That's not by accident.
He's
It's
the so
crazy.
Grimlock. So Bazooka is like the Grimlock of
Mm,
GI Joe. He's slow. They will have one guy who's just slow.
right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I representing it for everybody, I guess, and that's fine.
Yeah, there we go. Um,
But
Shipwreck was so good. Just like he's just such a filthy. Just he's obsessed with every woman he meets. He's just like the horniest guy. He's kind of a dickhead. He's very sarcastic. That's why I think like when if you take like the I don't actually know if this is true, but in the Robot Chicken, Fumbles episode
yeah, okay.
where he's like, fumbles. Have you seen that? It's just like I'm gonna be dead shot.
Mm.
And it's like, nah, and he like trips, and then he's like at Shipwreck is like, yeah, your nickname is Fumbles, and then then Fumbles comes back and just shoots everybody, like kills all of GI Joe. He's a
That's funny. Okay, I haven't seen that, but God, that's funny.
you gotta see
Well,
it. It's amazing. Yeah.
my memory of Shipwreck is like they would always like cut scene, and it would be somebody complaining about Shipwreck. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he wouldn't leave us alone, or okay, you guys are allowed to go if you take that guy with you. Just it's shit like that the whole entire time. It's he's an incredibly polarizing character, and I can't argue with anybody that says that's the favorite one. Dudes from the community like Big Red, my brother Big Red loves Shipwreck. That's his favorite character. And he that you have to, when you're dressed almost non-military, forgive me, the dude's in the military, right? For sure. But he's got that non-tactical look, I guess is what we're looking for. But still was awesome because he was just such a big personality. It's hilarious.
Well, that's the other thing is like good point is all of the characters, your favorites, are also assholes. Like, well, not like
Oh yeah.
Lowlight
No, but
is kind of mean.
he's gruff.
And it's basically because he was horrifically like, an abusive father and shit. But so it's like can't blame him. And then Beachhead's a dick. Beachhead's a total dick, right? So it's like
Beachhead's a total dick.
GI. That's one of the reasons why I think GI Joe, like cartoon wise, it's one of the only cartoons that actually has dicks as their heroes, or people who are slow, or like when you look at like He-Man, everybody's a bland hero, or even Visionaries, they're all bland.
Right.
You get into GI Joe, and you got like Shipwreck is an asshole who wants to bang everybody. Lowlight is horrifically abused. Bazooka is slow and hangs out with a very sarcastic dude. Quick Kick is like kind of is kind of annoyingly always doing accents. Roadblock, they're all weird and cool. It's
right.
like,
yeah, I very much dug. One of my favorite things about
good point. Sorry, what's it?
No, go ahead.
Leatherneck and Wetsuit were assholes to each other. They hated each other and they loved each other.
That is what I was just about to say. It's one of my favorite. I swear to God, one of my favorite things about the show is how it's in season 1. It was like Alpine and Bazooka had that like kind of relationship, but then in the next one, it was the same thing with Wetsuit and Leatherneck, but cranked up a bit, right? Like they were instead of it being like Felix and Oscar, it was like two Oscars that were like best buds. And actually, I'll talk more about that per one of the episodes that I have in here. But I definitely look back at that as like endearing because you could almost hear it in Alpine's voice. He'd be like Bazook, and he'd be like beside himself yelling because something had happened and he was like falling off the cliff or whatever. But even as a kid, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, Beachhead was like the biggest asshole. I think what I like about Shipwreck is he's like an asshole you'd want to hang out with. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if he would be your buddy. Beachhead would just kind of be a dick. I don't think I would want to hang out with him. Like he would be kind of tolerated. But Shipwreck, you'd be like, that guy's an asshole. I love that guy.
Right.
Like your best. He'd be like your most fun person to hang around with, and you'd be like, but don't trust him with your sister. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's funny. I don't know why, because I was never like I was always very anti-authority. So like liking, even as a kid, like liking Beachhead and Lole. I think a lot of it legit had to do with I really love those figures. Like they looked, I don't know, but the Beachhead is just, oh my God. And in my head, um I don't know. They definitely are total assholes. I'm really looking at that in a different way. Now that I'm sitting here, we're talking about it because I don't know. I enjoyed them so much. I did like Destro and the Baroness. I think are absolutely fantastic. Cobra Commander is obviously fantastic.
Yeah.
The Serpentor is, despite being a raging hard on, like
Well, let's get into
he's
that. We
still
can get into that.
right. He's still good. He's still good.
I can't stand. I hate Serpentor. I do hate Serpentor in the comic. I love, but I know this is. If you would say, what's your? I'm pretty sure I know the answer. That this is your favorite miniseries.
Yes,
There's only
definitely.
3, but
Definitely. No, listen, the mass device holds something very special because it's obviously the very first thing,
yeah,
right? I'll definitely say more about that, but and believe me, I would have picked all of Arise, Serpentor Arise to start off my list, but I jumped around a little bit, but no, this was the shit for me because it was right when this came out. I was also reaching a certain age where I was able to I was just at that perfect age to still be fascinated by hearing him say deoxyribonucleic acid, but also
yeah,
old enough to understand it, right? But
yeah.
it was still like, so just everything about that from start to finish is absolutely incredible for sure. Master, the other two are fine, very, very good, but this is the one.
Yeah, Beachhead was like the older brother from Weird Science. That's fucking accurate, dude. Neil Ross based Shipwreck's character on Jack
Check.
Nicholson from the movie The Last Detail. Absolutely. That's one of the things so cool about him is he's got the Jack Nicholson voice. This is like so bad. So
Right.
awesome, But yeah. Definitely, yeah. That Weird Science brother. That's what he is, man. He's a
That's
total
funny.
dick.
Chet, I think his name was Chet.
Yeah.
What a good movie too, by the way.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
as you know, when you're young and you're watching those movies, it's like some of it is it's going over your head, but you don't care because it's still awesome.
Yeah. um, let's see. Yeah, so what's your feelings on Arise, Serpentor Arise? Why it's your favorite?
Because it's for one of my favorite episodes is the very first episode of this series, and it's because it's almost like it rolls out GI Joe on a whole new level. Like right from the get go, the very first episode is where we see the new opening for season 2. Like it's the whole intro was different, and
Yeah.
then like right off the bat, they get right into it. Right, Scrap Iron is like putting together the drones, and you get to, or the bats, you get to see all of those. Actually, I think
Yeah.
I think I have that as my number 2. Yep, I think that's my number 2. Yep, my number 2 favorite is the part 1 of Arise, Serpentor Arise. The new intro, even like as much as I was just ragging on Beachhead, when Bazooka is running on the top of the Terradrome and he shoots that missile and it blows up that bat. That was so awesome
Oh
because
yeah,
you didn't get to see GI Joe hit anybody with anything. That was like the first time you were seeing it was right there when he hit that bat. So it always stuck in my head as something crazy. But and then just from there, it was over. It's crazy. I know they're not acting, but it was like I feel like Cobra Commander at his almost like his most unhinged but also his most devious as he was trying to like scam behind everybody's back to prevent it from happening and playing both sides where he's like saying things to like mind men are like, oh yeah, sure, make the new guy, so I'll follow him too, and then immediately turning around and telling Scrap Iron, we're gonna fuck this up, we are fucking this up the first chance that we get. And as a kid looking at that level of duplicity was just kind of like, because you're just starting to understand lying yourself as a kid, and you're like, this dude is just like completely one like 1 minute this one, the next minute it's that. And I remember that being a big factor, and it was crazy. But at the beginning of season 2, you get to see all those other cool people in there. Beachhead at right in the beginning. Scrap Iron also putting together the bats before they got on the bus. I thought that was pretty cool because then the bus shows up. Like, You're like because after Hawk tells everybody we gotta get whooped into shape. Those school buses that the bats just got on like roll up right on the GI Joe headquarters, and they come out, and yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, I wanted to see him shoot it out with the bats, but what kind of an entrance is that for Sergeant Slaughter, where he comes in and he's just like using one of them to beat all of the other ones to
Yeah,
death?
he's superhuman. Yeah, he's
Very crazy, very crazy. And you knew him as a wrestler then at that time too.
yeah.
You were just like, yeah, this is he's a real guy, and it's really awesome that he is in here. So yeah, that is, and it just like you get so much of everything in there. Like so after they get, afterwards Cobra Commander's like, oh no, Dr. Mindbender, your bats were terrible. They got, they one guy beat him up, and Dr. Mindbender loses his shit. And that one part there, he's really like yelling. He's like, no, you deployed them wrong, and blah, blah, blah. And he says a whole bunch of other stuff. And then at the end, Cobra Commander walks away, and at the end, he lets it slip right in front of everybody that, I've always thought that Cobra was going to need a new leader, and I think the time is now. And as a kid, you're like, wait, what? You can't go against Cobra Commander. He's like the absolute leader. And yeah, Cobra Commander scheming with Scrap Iron to figure out a way to get it done, and then Scrap Iron ultimately just taking the better price, to the more money to choose sides. He didn't care if Serpentor got married or not. He just wanted to he basically double dipped. He got paid by Cobra Commander and then took more money from what's his name, to make sure that he didn't slip another pill in there. And that part with the monster is pretty cool though.
Oh yeah, when he comes out a monster, that's pretty weird. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
sorry.
Say at the very tail end of that first step. No, that's not the first episode. That's later. But yeah, yes, at the very tail end of that episode, you get to see it's a Conquest and a Night Raven fighting each other, which is awesome. Cobra Commander delivers that line. He's like, "Is this the face of a patsy?" Which I always thought was amazing. And then you get to see the introduction to Monkey Wrench and Thrasher. So, because they say they've gotten, they've tasked Zartan with helping do some of these things to find this DNA, and they're like, oh, we have to expand. The Joes find that communique, and they're like, oh yeah, he's bringing in his brother Xandar and Zarana. So you're like, more people. Whoa, like just they keep introducing these characters, and then they cut to the scene where they're like, basically is like says to everybody, he's like, yeah, you want to be the new Dreadnought, you got to win this fight. And then Monkey Wrench blows everybody up, but then Thrasher comes in over the top of him with the Thunder Machine, and it was just there's so much that they packed into that very first episode that's fucking amazing. But that whole series is just crazy. Where that first time where you actually see him stand up and he yells this side command, again, at that time when you first saw it, you didn't know that he was going to become such an insufferable prick. But it's still awesome. The whole thing is still good. He sticks true to that character like the whole time. He's unwaveringly a douchebag, and I can respect that.
So this GI Joe Delta, they should have made a figure that you could change out Serpentor's face to become the different evil emperors. That would be great. Yeah, so he's like all assholes basically for the most part. There's a couple of good people, Geronimo, Alexander the Great, but then he's like Ivan the Terrible. It's a terrible choice. Rasputin's a terrible choice.
Genghis Khan.
Weird, a bunch of assholes basically and monsters. But another thing to mention is the art. Like, I don't think what surprised me rewatching some of it recently was how good the animation is. It's gorgeous. Especially this season. It like I think the peak is Nightmare Assault. When you get to Nightmare Assault, that's true. Beautiful episode. The art in that is incredible. When you compare that shit to He-Man, where they have
my god,
the He-Man Filmation cartoon blows.
Oh, forget it.
As an adult, I loved it as a kid. I'm not really, and it's for kids, so I'm not saying it's
sure.
But I'm saying is if you're an adult and you watch that shit, it's not good, man. But the GI Joe shit holds up. Fun fact: Montana was based on the Montana class battleship. Interesting. Okay, very cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, what did it for me was the first time you saw, even in the intro, is the Viper, right? The first time you saw the Viper, I even now, like when I recently went back and I pulled up Arise, Serpentor, Arise, and I was watching the beginning of the show. I mean, it all looked great of them raiding the Terradrome, but what really caught my eye and almost made me like pause it to look at it for a minute was how good that Viper looked. It had clean lines, but yet rounded in the right areas to make it look realistic, and the coloring was just like perfect. So I couldn't agree with you more on the upgrade on the animation level. It was really something else for sure. They really stepped it up.
You say He-Man's still charming. He-Man was literally three. It's three. The same. He-Man runs. He-Man punches the camera. It's rotoscoped. It's the same thing every time.
Right.
But, I mean, it has some awesome bits, but it is not good. But the Sunbow animation is gorgeous, like really good.
Yeah, definitely. And even when you look at, I mean, DIC started what? I think it was like 2 years later, and it looks like shit compared to that. Like, it's crazy.
That's
even so,
something Sunbow is Toei, which is like they made like One Piece and shit. They made like they were making great Japanese anime. Yes, it was Toei. So yeah. So this is calling that Sunbow's. So that's the thing, is like they were making the best shit there was in the animation field. Also, like I think they did Voltron too. I think they did Beast King Go Lion. So like, and Voltron has a beautiful look to it, and it's a really good it's a really well made cartoon. But my favorite of the miniseries is this one, but it's also the goofiest.
Yeah,
I love it though, man. It's so ridiculous.
I mean, you picked the most perfect picture, right? Like, yeah, that is where it's at. But that whole series is fantastic. What I like about all three of the miniseries is that they truly have battles all across the globe, right?
Yeah.
So every where you're simultaneously they're in the Arctic, they're in a jungle, they're in a desert, they're in a city or doing something, right? And I felt like that added to the worldly expanse of characters, and that they truly were an international fighting force, that they were all around the world taking care of business. And I don't again, you can only grasp so many certain concepts as a kid, but I do feel like I remember that was something that was important to the degree that I remember being like, oh dude, look at they're actually fighting, like some of these dudes, like that's how big their fighting force is. There's like 10 of them that are in the Arctic right now, and then there's a bunch of people that are also in the jungle and shit like that. Yeah, so that was definitely awesome.
That's what I think they gotta do. If they're gonna do a movie, and that's next week's topic, they gotta do the same thing. Back and forth. Three different groups with three different protagonists. Like Snake Eyes should lead one group. Maybe Duke or Flint is protagonist two.
Sure.
Maybe, another group of some weirdos or whatever, beachheaders. I don't know. And then you cross cut between the three. That would be what I would say you got to do. But this one is so good. It's so many memorable moments. So much of it's goofy and like ridiculous, but it's so fun. You got the Fatal Fluffies, you have the Cobra Island, you have Satin, you have talking about favorite characters. My not favorite character in the GI Joe cartoon is Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes sucks in the cartoon. He doesn't do shit. He shows up except for the first miniseries.
In the Mass Device,
he's basically Scooby Doo in this. He's Scooby Doo, and Shipwreck is Scrappy. I mean, is Shaggy, right?
Right.
That's basically, he's treated like an animal. Like it's not great. Cobra's something that's great episode. Yeah, taught us not to trust any politicians, which it's a good lesson, man.
One of the things that always stands out to me, in the Mass Device, after Snake Eyes has so blatantly did that wonderful act of selflessness, right? He shoots the thing down to stop the gas from getting to where they are, and it releases the safety ladder so they could all climb
Yeah.
out of the timber when he's in there with the radioactive shit. After he does that, they think he's dead. So when they're back at the Joe base and everybody's like, well, what are we going to do? We need this chemical. We need that last one, blah, blah, blah. No mention of like, oh, yeah, I know Snake Eyes died trying to get it for us. No mention or nothing. All of a sudden, here comes Cover Girl with Snake Eyes and Timber. They both hop off the Wolverine. Scarlet, his old lady, comes running up and is like, oh, hey, Snake Eyes, and immediately starts petting the dog and rolling around with the dog. And it was like, oh, she don't give a fuck about that dude. It was, I mean, I know that's not the true dynamic, but it just, in that moment, I remember thinking, like, even as a kid, like, man, she's happier to see that dog.
Cartoon did Lady J, Shipwreck, and the Twins. Yes. So I would say my favorite female character, which is not my favorite female character in GI Joe, but my by far cartoon best female, 100% Lady J.
Yeah, 100%. For sure.
And this is why, man. That nightie.
Yeah. we all knew what that was. We all knew what was going on in there. That's a great episode too. I actually forgot about that one.
Cookster, if they make a GI Joe cartoon in the future, maybe they can do a voiceover to reflect what's on. Hey, I did that, by the way. I don't know if you're aware of this. I made a "What is Snake Eyes Thinking" video where I dubbed over the cartoon and had Snake Eyes talk, and it's a fun flop of a video. You haven't seen it?
Why do I feel like I haven't seen it?
I do parody stuff every once in a while, like every few months I'll do a parody, and it always flops. It always gets like 3,000 views or whatever. It never hits never does as well as other stuff. But one of them I did was what if Snake Eyes could talk? I have him. And I think it's pretty filthy. It's a pretty filthy, like at one point I think I have him saying like, Duke, you I know you banged Scarlet. It's pretty good. I thought it was good. I don't know. It's not mind-blowingly good or anything, but
I thought I'd seen everything. I thought I'd seen everything. I have to go.
I have a whole parody list, man. I've done Raptor parody. I did a Snake Eyes parody. I did certain YouTube channel parody.
Right. It's also very good. That was
Snake Eyes and Gary. You watched it, yeah. So he nicknames Timber Gary. And then he has a song. I have him sing a song too as he's running. He's like,
"That's yeah, I love it."
Yeah, it's really stupid. It's really dumb.
I'll be checking that
every once in a while. I'm not above doing batshit stupid shit.
Well, it's good, and it's like something like that could wind up in a different kind of algorithm to draw more people. Like you're casting a wider net with that, right?
You would think, but no. It turns out it's always a smaller net. Everything I do in that realm fails horrifically. The people who watch it tend to enjoy it, but it doesn't do well.
Sure.
How hot was she in this episode? First of all, her voice. She is the sexiest voice of any woman. It is the best voice, and it is just impossible not to want her with that voice. Then they put her in this little like nightie, and she's walking around. We're walking around the castle. So hot.
Yeah, dude. That episode. I feel like too, because everybody's like seeing their friend, at a sleepover, seeing their friend's mom in a nightie like that or something. Walking and going to the bathroom, and she's scurrying back to the bedroom, and she's got something like that on. So I feel like that helps. But yeah, you are on the money about the voice for sure. She's actually Mary McDonald Lewis is in. Going to a Comic-Con in New York City in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Me and a couple guys are supposed to be hitting that up. I think Riptide O'Leary in the chat here, and CG Horror and myself. I'm trying to make that trip down there to see everybody. I think that would be cool. CG Horror and I have been talking about trying to get together for a while. He lives just outside of Philadelphia.
I don't think I can make it to that, but I will be at Joe Fest hopefully. So
I am. I think it's very possible that I'm bringing my kids and my mother to watch my kids when I go to do the thing, because their mother can't go. She has work and she can't. And I thought about like just even if I rented like an RV, you know what I mean, to drive all of it down and then just pay for the hotel for one night. Because I don't know, all of us going down in one car, like I could do that drive by myself, no problem. Like I love to drive, but man, two kids every 5 hours losing their mind, wanting to get out of the car, that'd make for a really long trip. But if I have an RV, it's still a little bit different. But yeah, we'll see. 75% to 80% sure I'm going to be there. So excited for that.
Morgan Lofty as the Baroness. I think okay. I still think hotter voice. She had a good rasp. Okay, in her bra in the changing room when kidnapped by the games master. Also another hot moment. She shows up in as a groupie in Cold Slither. Another great.
Oh
yeah, great moment in the episode. So did the Baroness's actress die? I don't know. I don't remember hearing that. I don't think so. I hope not.
Did the Baroness voice actor?
Oh,
no,
damn. She passed away last year. That's so sad.
No, is that true? I feel like, oh, wow. Okay. Somebody else confirming that.
That's
okay.
So sad. Yeah. Okay. She did. Well, I mean, I guess she was, how old was she? 84. No, okay. She was 84. I'm not saying it's not sad, but you know, when a person dies at 84, it's not that sad. You're like,
you
okay,
live,
you made it.
Live,
you kind of did your thing.
Right.
You know, like
right.
you made it. Good for you. Still Lady J hotter voice. This okay, here's what I was gonna bring up. So we'll bring up a few more episodes that are favorites. This is obviously one of my favorite episodes. First of all, just the fact that they're like you're getting this weird Lovecraftian monster coming out of the pit at the end was just so great. Lady J also lost her pants and gray hairs and growing pains. Why does that sound like porn to me? Why is that like just flat out everything in that sentence sounds like porn?
Right. I feel like this is the most in-depth you get in Destro's background too, right? You don't really get to hear much. I think that whole aspect is very cool, and like giving it adds such an element in a sense that now you only kind of had him as this, I'm here to win, I'm here to make this money, it's almost like the cold hard facts, so we can win this. And when you see this magic that he's performing, it almost seems out of character, right? To a certain degree, but it's not. It fits and just adds to the mystique of the beryllium headed fella there. I think that's awesome.
Another great moment in that is that she goes in to look at the portrait. She's like, "Oh, I'm the cousin," and you see there's like a picture of her, and then a picture of like a woman with a Destro face.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just,
that's right. That's great. That's awesome.
It's a lot of good stuff here. So that's one of my favorites. What's another one of your favorite episodes? Somebody mentioned Once Upon a Joe here. That was a while back, and I think I
did say it.
Find it.
I think that was my brother Evil Dookie, Outhouse Customs.
Okay, yeah, Evil Dookie. Once Upon a Joe. That's the one where is that the one where it's like they're little kids, right? They look like little children. I don't have that one queued.
They get hit with it's a de-aging thing. Like Cobra has a health spot.
Cartoony little kids, right?
Yeah, yes, yeah, big doughy eyes and whatnot. That's a crazy episode. I hope we get the Traitor and Worlds Without End tonight.
100%. Yeah.
Those are
Evil Dookie. Once Upon a Joe, hands down, best episode. That's a goofy one, man. I like it. Yeah. I'll tell you what my worst episode is. This is the worst episode of GI Joe. Okay, what do you think? Does anybody have a vote for what's your worst? I'm gonna ask you, what's the worst episode? Can anybody think of one that just sucks ass? It just sucks shit. It's like not all of them are good. What's weird about this cartoon is it ranges. It ranges from
there's some thinkers,
cool, weird, dark horror to like satire, like cool ass satire. And then every once in a while, it just goes to stupid, you know. And this is what I'm gonna say it. This is the stupid. Okay, this
Oh,
is the stupid. No, not that one.
yes.
Sorry, this is the stupid.
Oh,
Cobra
yes.
creates giant vegetables to battle.
I saw this one recently. It's crazy. They did who they I don't know what kind of stereotype that they were making that dude right there in the overalls on, but they
Yeah,
did that dude dirty. They gave him that goofy ass bowl cut. They made him like a total loner who does nothing but talk to his plants. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why. Even as a kid, I remember being like, "Yo, what's up with this dude? Why does his hair look like that?"
yeah. Once Upon a Joe is Shipwreck blows up. They have cartoon versions of the Joes. Yeah, and yeah, that is the biggest turd of an episode. Season 2 had some filler. What about another one that I think is kind of bad is when Iceberg becomes a killer whale. Have you seen
Oh
that one?
God, that's got to be the
It's
dumbest one.
kind of cool, but it's stupid. It's I don't know. Yeah.
And I am all about that, but holy hell. I
This is
mean,
the
holy
worst
shit.
one though, man. This thing is a
Yeah,
turd.
this one's bad. What is this one called again? I was just trying to look for it. It's
Can't remember what it's called, but it's basically we can't include the DIC era because that would be the whole DIC era would be the dumbest episode.
okay, you got me there for
I
sure.
think the greenhouse. Thank you,
Green
Norman Manchild. The greenhouse effect,
yes.
and it's so stupid. There's like giant beans and shit.
Yes.
You
Yes.
bring me a bean. Operative D says it's the worst episode of. I think it's the worst episode. Is it not the worst episode? What do you think?
I can buy that. I'm having a hard time remembering more about the one with the whale, but I do remember disliking it. I know that it was the ones that I disliked the most. I think we're in season 2. To be honest with you,
Yeah, there was
um,
some season 2 episodes that were weird and not great. But that was the dumbest because you're fighting like giant plants and shit. Um, but anyway, all right, let's get back to the good stuff. Here, what's another one of your favorites, Michael?
so let's see. One of the ones that I really enjoy a lot is the Worms of Death. There's a lot that goes on now. There's
Oh,
two
okay, part of
episodes. The
Pyramid Dark.
Mass Device.
That's part of the
Yeah,
Master Device. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I have two on the list from that, but the Worms of Death is super good because it starts off with Cobra Commander like threatening the UN, right? It's like that
Mm-hmm.
big open room, and he's and I remember that being. I was like, as a kid, you're like, oh shit, he is telling like all the because when you're a kid, you're like, oh, every nation just has a president. He's telling all the presidents,
Good knock. Yeah, yeah.
and um and then Destro delivers one of those lines. He calls him an egotistical peacock, and then like starts whispering to the Baroness about he doesn't know that like the empty threats ruin our credibility. And the voice in like that whole exchange is where you get that full effect of the Destro voice. And
Yeah.
I remember that being awesome. Uh, Torpedo shows up for the first time. They get everything together.
There's a good quote from the stupid killer whale video.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, and then they when they go down under the water, I thought that was like just a ridiculous exchange. I remember as a kid laughing that Duke was like, "Oh, we're gonna make a deal with the Baroness," and it was like, "What are you, an idiot? You're dumber than Cobra Commander!" Like, holy shit. And this was like when one of the episodes where you first started to really see Destro, like that whole thing of where I always talk about how I was so frustrated that they wouldn't just let Destro decide. And
Yeah,
this is
right. Like, yeah, you wrote that in your article. That was good. That was good
yeah,
stuff.
thank you.
Yeah, because Destro's
Even,
competent, and like when you look at the villains of all '80s cartoons, almost all of them are incompetent. The only ones who
right,
are competent: Mum Ra,
Mumra.
Evil Lynn, not
Mm-hmm.
Skeletor. Skeletor's a fucking loser. Hordak, and then you got Destro is the only competent person, right? Like
Right,
pretty much
right.
he's always kind of kicking ass. And then just like most of them are just and like actually Megatron's pretty competent, but for the most part,
Sure.
every like stupid villain, every villain is ruined by the cartoon. They always do a stupid thing with them where they make them kind of weak. and like dorks, and they fail, and it just like
Right.
it's so stupid. That's one of the other things I love about the GI Joe cartoon so much is how weird it is with characters, how cool it is with the characters,
Mm.
and how it does allow for some threat occasionally, even if like most of them are kind of silly,
Right.
but
Right.
I think this is pretty great. Yeah, okay. So, oh wait, here's a good example. I like the episode where Barons blows the sea conch to mind control all the men.
Oh
She
yeah.
does not need, like, I think there's the other one, Oda Cobra. Somebody
Yeah.
mentioned that in the chat. Sorry, I know it was way back. I can't find it, but one of you mentioned Oda Cobra. So this is where the Baroness uses a cologne to make men attracted to her.
Right.
Yeah, we're already there, man. Like, we already have a fetish for the Baroness. Like, every kid ever has a fetish for the Baroness, right? Like,
Right.
who saw
Right.
her.
Right.
So she doesn't need that. She just says, okay, thank you. The spy. Okay, there was a question in the chat saying, who is the spy? And I
Mm.
wrote about the spy multiple times. The hidden 6532 and Nowhere Man Child. Thank you for finding it. The Spy Who Rooked Me and Matthew Burke. Yes, I have put that in a couple of videos at this point. Especially I did a Sunbow, the mythology of Sunbow video that talked about the sort of the lore of the cartoon and how it's different. And yeah, he's in there. And I think he would make a great classified figure. Another asshole, by the way. He's a total narcissist.
Yeah.
He's just like if James Bond was a dickhead. Yeah.
That's what's up. And
Melted
so
Copper says, remember when I pretended Anchor Viper is returning on the 18th,
yes.
May 18th.
Yes.
I have she has look, I've been trying to get Anchor Viper on, but she's been trying to deliver on all the deliverables for her Kickstarter. And so finally we're getting her 2 weeks from now, May 18th. With
awesome.
or without. I told her, like, we gotta do this. I've been trying to do this horniest moments thing for like 6 months now. I'm done. I gotta do it.
It definitely started at the end of last year, and then we did. I think it was like we were trying to do it right before Christmas,
Oh,
and
thank
then we
you
were
for
like,
that.
all right, you know what? We'll push it to Valentine's Day, and then that didn't happen, and it just kind of we kept going. But yeah, that's going to be hilarious. That's
Yeah,
going
we
to
were
be
gonna do
gold.
it Valentine's Day. That's when we were officially gonna do it. We waited. We had the idea, and I was like, I'm chomping at the bit. When I get an idea, I like to do it right away.
Yeah.
I don't really like to
Yes.
wait. My brain doesn't like that waiting thing. I got
Yes.
ADHD. And she
Yep.
was like, all right, let's wait till Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day came along. She's like, I can't do it. I was like, all right, let's do it. So whatever.
Nice.
So super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Happy playing, Doctor.
Oh, nice.
Robert says lies, filthy lies. Now I am also divorced and balding. Yeah.
Thank you, Ron. At the end of that episode, though, so they're in the depths. They make the deal with the Baroness. That's where we get to see, Snake Eyes makes it out of the cave. He meets Timber for the first time. It's
Yeah.
like an iconic moment, and then he's saved by the blind man, who we all love. The blind man, and then he goes on his way. And in the end, it's the sound of those two berms, bro, is like that shit was like, even though I wasn't really scared of them, that sound was like horrific. I remember one day. God, I'm trying to remember who said it. Somebody said that to the wife. They're like, "You sound like a tube worm," and obviously she didn't get it, but I did, and it was funny.
That's
It was
awesome.
very funny.
That's
And then
really
later, I know. That's how they express their love for each other is by saying things like that.
Yeah, okay.
He meant that as your voice sounds like the worst sound ever. The term of endearment for sure.
That's pretty mean, man.
Yeah, that's it. They've known each other since we were kids.
Oh
So
wow,
it's
okay, yeah.
at this point, it's 30 years of being together, basically. So fucking A.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll throw out another of my favorite episodes here. And yeah, obviously this has to be on the list, which is Cold Slither. And it's goofy as hell and it's ridiculous, but it's like, to me, this is like what I love about the tonal shifts is you have like some that are very dead serious and frightening, like
Right.
we'll talk about them soon. And then you get these that are like straight up satires, and this is a satire, man. This is a really funny. This is some funny shit. It's kind of brilliant, you know, and it really works. It's really fun. And I just love this episode. You know, it's such a great episode.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It is a good one. That song is super catchy. Um, Cold Slither, you'll be joining us soon. Yeah, it's good. It's good. And I did always like metal music, so like I
Oh yeah.
grew up with like older. I always hung out with older people, and so back in the '80s, it was all Judas Priest and Megadeth,
You can tell by your
Metallica,
hair,
Slayer.
man.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I've always had long hair. I think once I was old enough to make that decision for myself, I've never looked back, with the exception of that one summer when my mother blackmailed me. So my mother never liked that I had long hair. And so one night, I think I was maybe 14 years old, like a total idiot. I stayed out all night long over at a friend's house. And even though like all I would have had to have done was to ask, but I didn't. And so when I came home at like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, my mother was like, well, here's the deal. Your father left for work and he thought that you were in your bedroom sleeping. If you cut your hair, I won't tell him. But if you don't, I am going to tell him. And then, you know, you'll be grounded for the rest of the summer. And school had just gotten out like 2 weeks before that. So I was like, all right, just don't go too short. And she buzzed me like damn near all the way down.
I'm telling you, like if you're not aware of this in the chat here, if Michael was to let his hair down, he would have a Fabio mane of just like long hair.
I'm trying to get it out of there. I need to let it out more often, though. I don't think it's good to have it in all the time. And it's
There you
nobody.
go,
I know.
right? Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah. Nobody ever gets to see it because I never really take my hair off. But yeah, it's hit a plateau for the most part. Like it hasn't grown below my nipples in like
Actually, more
forever.
Jesus than Fabio. Actually, now that I look at it.
Yeah, and if I
Any
like
Lord
get
of
out
the
of
Rings character.
yeah, oh yes, that's
Definitely
I've
work
heard
as
that before.
any Lord of the Rings.
My lifelong friends used to call me Triple H. That was the one that stuck for the most part. Now he don't look like that
Yeah.
no more because he's shaved his head. But yep. It's I one time when I was in my 20s, I had cut it down to a little bit because I was working this job that summer where I had to wear the special breather all the time. And like an idiot, and then that was it. That's like the last time I've ever had a real haircut. So like 3 haircuts my whole life mostly.
Writer of Cold Slither, Michael Charles Hill is going to be all the Joe cons, including DFW. I actually talked to him over Instagram when I made my Cold Slither documentary. He actually shared it. I was very, very honored to have him share it.
Nice. That's awesome.
Speaking of which, this is an interesting story. This is one of my only beefs. I have very few beefs with the GI Joe community because I am relatively, I think, a nice person. And I have, of course, the beef we all know about. And then I have another beef. I don't even remember who it is. But the person, I made this Cold Slither mockumentary thing where I did like action figure stop motion. And I did like voiceovers and shit. And so this guy contacts me. He starts saying, you stole my idea. You watched my video and you made the same thing over you. And I'm like, dude, I've never heard of like, what are you talking about? Like, first of all, like he claimed I watched his video. I stole his jokes. And I was like, maybe, just maybe, guy, you and I came up with the same kind of lame jokes because they're really obvious. Is that possible? Like, you know what I mean? It's like the idea was like, how could two people come up with the same idea? I think it's like a Cold Slither parody. Mine was a VH1 Behind the Music Cold Slither parody. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. It's a very easy joke. Thank you. I love that. It's a very so he was like, you watched my video, you stole my idea, you did all the same jokes. I'm like, yeah, because they're probably, I mean, I'm not a fucking SNL writer. You know what I mean? Like come up with jokes. They're probably not that great. I mean, they were, and I'm like, the fact that we both came up with the same, you don't think that maybe both of us came up with the same idea at this different times? And then he's like, you saw mine. I'm like, I tried looking for it. I was like, dude, you got like,
I can't find it
on that shit. I can't find that shit. Like, how the, you know what I mean? Like the idea that you can't remake, I think the idea that you can't have the same idea as somebody else is ridiculous on YouTube. it's like I'm sorry, but like I do rankings. If you want to do rankings, do fucking rankings. Like it's like I didn't make up the idea. I didn't like, I'm the first person to do it. I'm not the if you want to do it too, do it. It's gonna be your version. Like I don't like do any video I make, do it again. Do your version. I don't care. Like you can't own ideas on YouTube. It's stupid. Anyway, but that was my that's my like my beef with the one, I don't even remember his name. The one person who like was like fucking bitch to me because I had the same idea as he did. Anyway.
I mean, it's like
shirtless mindbender joke, of course. Exactly.
Yeah.
Same exact fucking thing. It's the same thing, man.
Yeah, dude, that's it. Oh, looks like our brother Roblox joining us. What's up, my dude?
Hey,
Good to see you.
Roblox. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I try to avoid anything, even if somebody just says like a out of pocket comment. I just look the other way. I don't care. I can't argue with an idiot. You know what I mean? It's legitimately now that came with age. Believe me, when I was in my 20s, I had plenty of time for all that, right?
Yeah.
But just now not so much. It's just like, you know what? Is and it, with people on the internet is that almost certainly you're never going to say anything that's going to change their mind. So if they've come in with their pistols out and they're shooting and they want to have a gunfight in like the Twitter streets, then there's nothing that you're going to do that's going to stop them. And I always looked at it as you're fighting a terrorist. Terrorist doesn't care if they go home or not. They will die fighting. You want to go home to your family. This is not a fight you're going to win. Just fucking look the other way and let it go. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
but no, something like that though. That's where somebody is like barking up a storm about you took their idea. That's a little different, where
they were calling me out on Twitter saying like I stole their idea and I'm like a piece of shit and all that, and I was like sorry, like I do occur when I come up with an idea, I tend to look and see if somebody's done it. But honestly, if somebody's done it, it doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. If I think I can do a different version, that's like I did one on R-rated toys and I was like, it's been done like 30 times. Like it's like I'm not doing anything new, but it's like I think if I want to, it's just interesting to play around with, and I just don't think it works that way, especially on YouTube where it's just oversaturated and there's like how much stuff do we even have to talk about? I mean, realistically, it's like if I do a ranking of the newest I do a review of figures, we all do that shit. I don't.
Right.
A lot of people do that shit. Right. Anyway, that's my rant that I've been holding in for a year. By the way, no, Larry Hama, Skybound, and Energon Comics are running Joe stories. Do you think IDW characters like Helix and Ronin? Yeah, Helix is very heavily. Well, not very heavily, but Helix has definitely shown up multiple times in the Larry Hama universe. She hasn't shown up in Skybound. I would love to see Skybound Energon throw in Dawn Moreno, not have her be Snake Eyes. Have her be Dawn Moreno and just find a new way. Like she's Snake Eyes' apprentice or something. Like they could reinvent her because I don't really love like her. I actually love her character. I think she's great, but I don't like the death of Snake Eyes. Shit, stupid. So I would love to see what they would do with a Dawn Moreno. And I would love to see Helix brought in. Yeah, I mean, I'm like I know Conrad Hauser and me are like the biggest Helix fans in the world, right?
Yes, he does love it for sure. Somebody else too. I feel like there's one. Yeah, no, I think it's a very cool idea for sure. Yeah, like that, and all like there's a they make a mission crate shit. I don't think I have it, but yeah, she's Sister Arsenal makes a mission crate for those cool weapons, and they all fit in there. It's nice. And so, like when you open it, there's a whole. I had a whole photo shoot plan for that, and I just never got to it because it's like you can bring her in the room, and here's your shit out of a case. You unleash the beast and right into the field. Yeah, no, she's an excellent character for sure, without a doubt.
All right, what you have another? I got an Agent Helix fan here. Do you have another? What's one of your favorite episodes, or anybody in the chat too? Throw out a favorite episode to me.
I got Vines of Doom, or Vines of Death, not Doom. Vines of Death. That's one of the Master Race.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah, it's that's the one where, let's see,
I feel like I think of the mass device as just one thing. I
I
forget.
know, right?
It's
Right, that's
not.
true.
It's definitely.
Flint and Junkyard escape. Remember, the Sky Striker crashes. I think both Sky Striker and Flint Sky Striker crash, and the three of them are down there with the dog, and they turn on the afterburners, and it keeps the vines away from them, and then they salvage parts off of the other Sky Striker to make a small helicopter to lift them out of the
Yeah,
pit.
yeah.
But at the last minute, it's too roadblocks too heavy, and one of the vine gets him, and he's like, "I'll find my way out." And he goes at it with like another wonderful act of selflessness, like akin to Snake Eyes in the tunnel, right? So here he is. He lets go. He goes down, and then what happens is that they wound up shutting off the weather dominator, and then the rain stops, and then that's that. And he wakes up, finding his way out. But like it was so crazy just how they use that like jalopy helicopter to get out of there. And then after that, it's Flint and Junkyard wind up meeting. It's the introduction of Shipwreck is right there. They go to that bar in Cobra City or whatever it is. And they beat up at first they beat up those troopers, take their uniforms, and then drive a Stinger into that closest town. And it's like the Cobra town where they go in, and then they ultimately, I think in the next episode is where they meet Satin. But that one right there is where they in the bar they meet Shipwreck. And I thought that was pretty awesome. Doc gets his shining moment because he's the dude that comes up with the big crystal shaped mirrors to reject the big rays that Cobra is sending. And there's like and he delivers that one line that's still to this day so crazy. They're like, "Oh my God, Doc, is that going to work? Is it going to get too hot?" And he's like, "Don't worry, I've got my asbestos underwear on." Hilarious, just hilarious shit. But that is a good one. Like there's a lot of tension between all of them, and like as a kid, I just remember it being like super insanely intense. When the shields actually worked, so they rolled those shields out of like the back of the APC, which was cool seeing that in action. And then they were like defending Washington from the weather that they were sending. So like they were, they first the hail was falling, and then from the actual leather they were shooting those laser beams, and the mirrors were catching it all. They refracted it from the smaller ones onto the big one on the truck where Doc was, and then Doc, that's when he shot the big laser beam, blew the whole thing up, and everybody was cheering everywhere. So yeah, that's the shit. That's the shit for sure. Or was it the yeah? No, that wasn't. That's not from the Mass Device. I'm sorry. That's from Pyramid of Darkness. My bad.
So
Yeah,
we got
that's
a vote for
good.
Let's Play Soldier. Best
Ooh,
Leatherneck episode. Okay, another vote for Phantom Brigade.
that's a good one. I just saw that recently.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's
Hearts
definitely
and
pretty good.
Cannons. Okay, yeah. Oh, all right. Zorana. Okay, maybe the episode where Zorana and Mainframe are banging.
Good one. That's
That
a good
would
one.
be a really good one. The Fun House. Yeah, all
Yeah,
right. That's a great
that's
one.
that's a really good one too.
Oh, when Flint Goes Home is a great episode. The one where he's like, and his whole family is like brainwashed and shit. He's got the Viper. He's driving the Viper.
Who's the so there's what episode is that? Because that one is really good. It's where they capture the family of a bunch like barbecues
Mm,
family, like
yeah,
all the
yeah.
family, and
Gung
then
Ho's family, but they're crazy.
yes. Yeah, well, they went to go the very end of the episode. Somebody was like, "Gung Ho, did they steal your family?" And they cut to like the Baroness and a few Vipers rolling up on their family. And I don't remember exactly what the exchange is, but it ends with all the Cobra people jumping in like a moccasin, and Gung Ho's family chasing after them. Like, what? You don't want any
Yeah,
gumbo?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't remember what happened, but they
That's a
definitely
great one, yeah.
drove Cobra away. It's
Computer
hysterical.
Complications, the Zorana and Mainframe episode. That's a great one too, because you have very complex emotions. That was a very cool
Yes.
thing that you have. Oh, Flint in the sweater vest would be a great action figure. Yeah, that would be really great.
That is
Captives of Cobra. What is Captives of Cobra? I'm like blanking on that one. What
Captives
happened
of
to
Cobra.
Captain Cobra? I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay. Well, one of the dumber ones, Cobrathon. When they have Mr. C.
Oh
So
yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
T,
yeah.
the Mr. T version uh he's like a Mr. T, but in the end he like renounces Cobra and he joins
Oh,
GI Joe. I'm down
that's
with
right.
Mr. C action figure. Um the
I didn't
Primal.
like
That
the
was a dumb
germ.
one, I think. I feel like that was bad. Flint's Vacation. Flint's Vacation is the one where his family is that's a great one. I should probably queue that one up. Another
Mm.
okay, we got to get through, of course, the Games Master. Possibly
Oh,
one of the horniest episodes that I'm previewing here. Because in every frame of that, there is a just. I think when you first see Lady J, she's in a hot tub and she's like, whatever. She's got
mm.
a bra on, and then you get into, of course, Baroness is in. Oh, maybe it's Baroness. I can't remember. Baroness is in a bikini, and they had that fight. Um, yeah, that was
Uh-huh.
Captain Cobra. Okay, Captain
The
Cobra.
germ I always thought was a stupid episode. Um, the one where the blob is just like flying through the air
Oh,
and they try
terrible.
shooting
Yeah,
at it. Terrible
totally
episode.
terrible.
You know what was one that was? It's one of the ones that always sticks out. But the way that the episode went at the end, I was so disappointed because it was the Viper. So the Viper is coming, and it turned
I
out
have
to
that
be
one
the
queued up
reason that.
here because everybody loves that episode, but it's so dumb. It's a dad
Uh,
joke in the disguise of an episode. It really, but it's
uh,
fun. It's fun. It's fun.
agreed. Agreed. I just, as a kid, my first reaction the first time watching it was like, "Oh, what the fuck!" Like I thought we were gonna get like the ultimate Viper,
It's just a dad
almost like
joke.
a new character. But no, 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 it's hysterical, man. That's so good. That's so good. They got a whole episode out of it. I can't believe it.
The episode's not that great, admittedly. It isn't that great. The Games Master episode is pretty great when you get to
Mhm.
find him, and he's just this really like effeminate, weird dude, but he's like massive. He's like he's like 9
Right,
feet tall.
right, right.
Um, and he kind of escapes, but he never comes back. I would love to see I would love to see somebody do like a dark version of the Games Master where it's like realistic
Mm.
and creepy. He's almost like Saw, you know what I mean? Like I would love to see somebody
Okay.
write that shit. That would be so freaking cool.
I,
Um,
sort of having things from GI Joe, just taking it to like the next level. I always had, like, I always wanted to write like a just almost like long form story about Destro and Baroness, but
mm,
having it viewed through the lens of them being like more like Mickey and Mallory Knox. So I
yeah.
know that like just absolute psychos. I feel like that's maybe a little too far for Destro's character because he's a little bit more of like a methodical, like thinking about the long game kind of guy, as opposed to and then the Baroness, I guess too. But at least her, she seems like an absolute lunatic. So that doesn't seem like too much of a stretch. But I just always have been taking like these mental notes, and maybe one day I'll sit down and I'll actually write it because I feel like there's a way you could do it where they would just be like insatiably bloodthirsty and like just fuck it. Oh, they
Mm.
don't want to pass, then fucking kill them.
Like No Merry Man Child got folks 2-parters. So the 2-part. Okay, so the 2-parters are the ones where we got to jump in, and I think are the best episodes. So I think I've really covered all my favorites except for the 2-part. Oh wait, before we go to the 2-parters, this one has to be talked about. In the Presence of Mine Enemies.
Ooh.
Oh, and the Memories of Mara. We get to kind of talk about both of those. So you have
Oh, yeah, yeah,
two
yeah.
versions where you have a character who's defecting from Cobra. The one with ghosts. Oh yeah, the Phantom Brigade. Okay. But yeah, so this is one of the great episodes. Absolutely, like Raven. We get Raven, and we have her defecting. Memories of Mara is also awesome. Again, it shows a really horny shipwreck. As everything is horny shipwreck. But this time he has reciprocal horniness.
Right, right, right.
This lady who's into him. And he actually gets
One
a
of
little action for a change.
No shit. Right, right, right. One of the ones that I really liked too is all of my favorite things, where it's more of the story about Serpentor, where he's decided he wants to go get the artifacts from museums and
Oh
shit
yeah, that's a cool one.
it's almost like he's doubling back on his own DNA to get stuff to acquire more power. That's where his face changes into different shit. And dude, the episode starts off in an insane way. Um, a bat that's hidden in like a night, a suit of armor, takes the helmet off, goes over, steals the Rasputin, like it's like a big phone, and then he
Yeah.
jumps out the window, and you're like, wow. And he's flying down, and all of a sudden the Night Raven drone detaches, and it goes to try to scoop it up, but the bat can't get in it, so he throws the portrait into the drone. The bat to the ground. The pilot informs Serpentor that they've gotten the thing, but the bat didn't make it into the drone, and he literally says he can walk home. And as a kid, you're just like, wait a minute, but how far is that? Like, he's just gonna walk all the way home. Um, I love that episode. I thought it was awesome, and that's so the nut of that is like almost right after that, the Joes are on vacation in I think it's Italy, and they all of a sudden see a bat go into like a museum or a library, and so they go and they get scuba gear from like the sporting goods store. They go
Oh yeah.
underwater
My
because
favorite
the
things is that
city. Well,
yeah.
city goes underwater. Actually, they blow up a dam. Here comes a bunch of morays, but it's actually the dudes themselves. The leaders are in this water. Cobra Commander, Destro, Baroness, even Serpentor's got that silly looking tank on his head, and he's down there swimming looking for all the stuff. That's where they get the axe, and Leatherneck actually takes it from. Leatherneck and Serpentor get into a fight, et cetera, et cetera. And then afterwards, after they're fighting for it, Serpentor throws a dart and it gets stuck in the door, and Leatherneck winds up backing up onto it, I think trying to save Wetsuit or something along those lines. And then so afterwards, they now need the venom from Serpentor's blood or from an actual King Cobra in order to save his life. And so
Yeah.
Wetsuit, even though he's scared to death of snakes, wraps that thing on his arm and goes after the big snake because, he Wetsuit sees the bat that tried to kill him in the water earlier in the episode, and he immediately goes, "It's on," and throws like that cup of venom that they already had from Serpentor, which was just insane. Lifeline was like, "What are you doing? We needed that." He's like, "What are we gonna do? How are we gonna save your friend?" And he's like, wraps that shit on his arm, and then a King Cobra bites him, and that's how they get the juice to save him. It's a wild ass episode.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, my favorite things that's my favorite things. All right, so a few people mentioned, and these are of course the last hold on, it's just like the last few for me, last three, I think the best three, in my opinion, are here. And we'll have time to go back if you have a couple more. But of course, the Trader would be up there.
Yeah.
I think somebody mentioned here the Trader. I think a lot of people mentioned the Trader and the last two that we'll be talking about. This was written by Buzz Dixon. This is one of the most deep and like interesting episodes. Actually, I'd put Nightmare Assault even higher than this. That would probably be my third favorite episode, I think. But just because we talked about them a little out of order, just because Nightmare Assault kind of came up. But this would be this is an amazing episode. This is some deep shit for a kid's show,
Dude, I didn't understand that it was a double play. So I grew up thinking Dusty Rudat was a fucking traitor. Like that's for the longest time. I didn't know. I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention. I didn't see it or what was going on. But it wasn't until later in life that I realized, oh wait, they put him up to that. Duke knew he wasn't a traitor. He was double crossing them, and then I felt like such a boob.
It's tough emotionally. That was cool.
I was mad. I hated Dusty. I was like, fuck that dude. Every time I go to somebody's house and they'd have a figure, I'd be like, get that fucking traitor out of here.
Well, that's one of the things that makes it so cool is GI Joe in general. It had a couple of people who were not thinking about the audience. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what makes it great is that you have people who are not thinking about their audience. Larry Hama never gave a shit about writing for kids. He never wrote for kids. He never
Right.
cared about it. Buzz Dixon also never wrote for kids. He was like, I'm going to write the things I'm interested in, which is assholes. He
Right.
loves assholes and like deep shit like this. So I think this is very cool. Why didn't GI Joe pay for Dusty's mom's medical stuff? You know what? Why does the American government not pay for veteran shit like to the level it should? I think you could say that. But but yeah, okay. So you said Operative D said you should do the Odd Couple with Leatherneck and Wetsuit. That might be interesting. I might take it into a gay realm though. I might have them because I always felt they were bickering in a way.
Yeah, only married couples bicker.
They're probably banging them behind the scenes, but
right.
I'll be the parody version of it anyway.
I don't know who's on the
whatever.
bottom.
Like 5% of the world is gay, so if you have 300 GI Joe characters and 15 of them are gay. Let's face facts. So so tell. We know 15% of them. 15 of them are gay.
There's at least 5.
And there's nothing wrong with that too. I'm like no problem with that. So that's all I'm saying. But yeah, this is a great episode. Then of course, okay, we have the other two-parters are my favorite episodes of the series, which would Primordial Plot Dinosaurs. I did not like that episode, but yes, it was Jurassic Park before the Jurassic Park. It's goofy, but okay. This would be my second favorite episode. Do you have a second favorite episode? What would you say your second favorite episode before I jump into this?
I think that the God, which one was it? Oh my God, I definitely said it. I already read it though. The number one is the I just said it. What the hell? Which one was it? Oh my God. Not the Vines of Death. So the first episode of Arise, Serpentor Arise was my number 2. My number 1 is the actual number 1, the very first episode of the mass device, where because I wrote an entire article on from the beginning of the intro until the very first time you hear GI Joe will be right back. Dude, it is just a perfect tour de force of what GI Joe is to me in my mind, right?
Yeah.
From the actual intro to Duke coming up with that crazy grandpa saying where he's like, I'm gonna kick the mustard out of that crazy hot dog. and then it's a female who jumps out of the pilot. I remember as a kid being like, now He-Man had ladies and so did Star Wars, but for some reason her getting out of that big jet, like nobody else was flying, it was just her. She was the one flying. It made her look like important. And then right after the scene, and then immediately, like there's 2 seconds of that banter, and then Major fucking Blood is attacking, and you're just like, what? And that fight goes on. They finally chase the Cobra away, and then immediately you go to where Destro is walking up the mountain of the Silent Castle with the Sherpas, and then this is where I think, and I remember seeing it for the first time, where on the side of the entrance to the castle, there's those like snakes that are just like sitting there slithering. They're like snake heads. It's like, and then Destro walks up to one and it stiffens and opens its mouth. And it's like, identification, please. That my mind fucking exploded, and that was it. There was, from that moment on, nothing was cool anymore besides GI Joe. And like that was it. I was like, what? And then then there's a perfect exchange. When Destro first pulls off that robe, and then you get to see him, in all his glory with the suit, and he's kind of standing there. There's a great exchange that represents the relationship between Destro and Cobra Commander, and just even that whole episode is absolutely perfect. So, I mean, what an amazing first episode for a fucking cartoon! Like, holy shit!
Yeah. Oh, Norman Manchhouse is Cobra Creatures. That's a good call. Yeah, Junkyard turns against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one they turned Junkyard against Mutt, right? And terrible. Yeah, good episode.
Here's my second favorite episode of all time, 2-parter. There's no place like Springfield, where you see Roblox's face melt, which is actually just like what I love about that is you got a just absolute Twilight Zone episode, horrifying, just disturbing. It's just like Shipwreck is in bed, he's sick, he's being kidnapped, and he's being brainwashed, and he's dreaming, and he sees Mara, and he's like happy with Mara. So it's like very sad because he has this like moment where he's happy, he's got Mara, and he's got a child, and in the end he has to like shoot them, and they melt, and it's just like it's so tragic, it's like
Right.
he had this like
Right.
moment of happiness that he can't have, and that bittersweet like sadness is just such an interesting thing that they did that you don't see in a cartoon. Synthoids, yeah, the synthoids. How cool was that, man? That's one of the best episodes of all time. Yeah.
It's crazy episode. And did you know at the end that there was, oh God, I hope I'm not being an old man getting duped on the internet, but there was like an alternate ending to that show at first. I'm not going to remember exactly what it was, but it was something. So at the end, what's that? The lady and the kid,
Mm-hmm.
Mara and the kid are standing in that house, and Shipwreck walks in, and they both have like crossbows or something in their hands. And the original ending was supposed to be the kid is
Yeah.
about to shoot the mom, and instead the mom shoots the kid, and they showed it. And then they
Oh yeah.
actually changed it. There's oh man, I really wish I could remember the exact thing, but there is a weird thing again. Hopefully, I'm not being duped by some stupid fucking internet thing. But there was definitely it was a whole article, and then they show the clip where it's right before it solves the mystery of was Mara a synthoid or not, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think it's because the kid originally goes to shoot her, but before she melts, she shoots the kid, and then Mara herself winds up melting, and then that's how they knew that she was a synthoid. But that fucking episode is you. I don't think I could come up with a better way to describe it than you did with a Twilight Zone type horror show
Yeah.
where the people are melting. It's unexpected. Um,
It freaks you out,
again,
man. Like Joshua
yeah,
Blackburn says, um, and the depth to which they use Shipwreck. Yeah, he's like the comical and smart aleck, but they give him some humanity. I think that's very accurate. Yeah. And
and
then
they
yeah,
did.
getting Mara and then losing her. It's just like it's a very sad episode. It's really it's a great one.
They played his like desperation in that episode where once he started really realizing that something was really fucking wrong, like you could feel his unraveling. Like even if you go back and you watch it now, you're like, man, these dudes were not fucking playing with this shit. Like
No,
this
it's
is
a great
crazy.
episode. It's really
Yeah, it's so
interesting.
good, so
And
good.
I feel like it's pretty original too. I feel like I don't know that
Mm,
I've seen that. So, but
yeah,
okay. Then, do you have what's your absolute favorite episode of all time? Do you have
yeah.
like, or
I,
did we already go
God,
there?
yeah. I think I have to. Yeah, I think I have to go with the very first episode. Like well, it's most likely it's either first episode of Arise, Serpentor Arise, or the first episode of Mass Device. Most likely the first episode of Arise, Serpentor Arise. But there are a ton of standout like ones that
Yeah.
just pop into your head. Like serious
Oh, here we go.
that whole first season is largely pretty good. I think.
Yeah.
Jungle Trap. That's one in the beginning where they like the Zartan like they're in India and they're walking through this village and then there's a guy like doing a snake charmer thing and then the camera shows up and it's like down looking up at the person that's sitting there and it's Zartan underneath this thing and he plays a particular thing on his little flute and the snake goes rigid again and opens its mouth and it's a little TV and he's talking to Cobra Commander. Like that shit to me blew my fucking mind as a kid. But that episode is also very good. But all the ones right in the beginning, dude, are just no joke. Like the Rise of Serpentor Rise, the Mass Device, and the Pyramid of Darkness are all just absolute, you know, the gold standard of cartoons for me.
So somebody went actor and manager. We had 20 questions, which was a great episode as
Oh
well. A
yes,
little parody of
yes,
the media too. We
yeah,
got some votes
that's a good one.
for any episode with Zartan. But I'm gonna go with my absolute favorite episode though is the two-parter, which would be, and this is a lot of people saying this in
Yep,
the chat, so I
yeah,
don't think. Oh,
for
what's
sure.
interesting? No Place Like Springfield is an homage to The Prisoner. Okay, I can see that. Yeah. But my favorite, Rodimus, it says Worlds Without End. This is my favorite episode too. And this is just a masterpiece. this is such a disturbing episode. I mean, the guy like sees his own dead body. You know, it's like though it starts out with this really interesting premise, which is Steeler. His like he almost dies, and then he decides, well, if I almost died, should I be? Why am I fighting this? It doesn't seem like it ever goes anywhere. It doesn't seem like it's worth anything. I'm risking my life. And then and then like he goes this other dimension and he sees what happens if they fail. And this is what happens if they fail. You know, he's dead, and you got Cobra Commander and Destro on the
Right.
fucking Mount Rushmore, which is so awesome.
Amazing.
And the details
Amazing.
you got, like the dreadnoughts of the cops, and then like the final thing is Baroness is like on the side of the rebellion, and it's like in the end, Steeler has to like hang back to be with the Baroness and battle and fight against with the resistance. It's like no, he's clearly hanging back to bang the Baroness. I think
right. There's nope. He wants to bang the Baroness. You know, Steeler having an existential crisis in front of our eyes basically was just was watching it unfold. Like one of my favorite exchanges, I think, in all of the Sunbow cartoons comes in, I think it's episode 1. It is episode 1 in the very beginning. So as Steeler is going on about like, you know, oh my God, like just all the things that you were saying where it's the doom and gloom. And he's like, no, he's like, you know, I'm really, and then next thing you know, he's standing next to Barbecue, and Barbecue's got his helmet off. And he's like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's just, no matter how hard I try, it's, you know, we do this, and then Cobra punches back, and then we come back to Cobra, and it's a cycle. It never ends. And then Barbecue says something that just to kind of like empathize with him, like, oh yeah, buddy, you know, you got to get up in the morning and keep going back after it again. You know, you just can't, you know, try to be positive about it. And then Steeler comes back and is just like, yeah, man, you're right. It really is like, what's the point of doing this anymore? And he completely misrepresents what Barbecue had said, and he's verbalizing it. And you can hear Barbecue jump in and he's like, hey, buddy, that's not what I said. And then somebody else walks in the room and starts talking over it. But that quick exchange, it reminded me, and the way they edited it struck me as that's how two adults talk. Like I you know, as a kid, you're like, oh, that's my dad and his brother talking to each other about, you know, whatever. Like the way that was all done, like still to the degree that that's not something that I like saw recently. That was always been in my head, you know, just like that very specific exchange. And the seeing all of that where they, you know, again, it was like that they played the desperation in the good guys so well. So like when they first realize that they're like in another, oh, we're not someplace, we're sometime or somewhere, right? Where this is like we don't know what happened, but and then it's that moment where they've realized that they're no longer like at home anymore, but they also don't know what the fuck is going on. So there's this massive confusion and like paranoia in like this very short window that gets expressed through a lot of like the characters' faces and stuff where they're not all talking at once, but when you look at all of them, you could see they're all like, you know, what? And so I think that's like an amazing bit of cartoon writing. And not that I've watched, you know, all kinds of different cartoons. I don't know, you know, there's a whole bunch of shit that from the 90s that I know is revered as pretty good. And so I can't say that I've watched all that, but I've never seen anything like GI Joe Sunbow cartoon. It's just like with all these things, subject matter, the editing, the animation of season 2, like all of that stuff. I find it to be incredibly awesome. So there's definitely are some stinkers in season 2 for sure.
It's season 1, honestly, but
true.
Cookster says I would have stayed too if I was Steeler. Yeah, anybody would have stayed. I mean, you got the Baroness, but yeah, Joe Grunt Clutch Steeler had been retired from use. Yeah, I think Breaker too, right? Is Breaker like just stays behind? Some of them stay behind to fight the. What was it? Oh, I can't remember. Okay,
is that
so good?
What's the episode where I think the dude only shows up for like 1 or 2, and it's not. I don't remember if it's this one. What's the guy's name? Sparks.
Oh, Sparks. Like yeah. They're gonna get us a Sparks figure at some point.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
It was just like a different breaker, right? At least in the cartoon, the couple, because
Yeah.
there's one episode
They'll
where
make his
he like
parts bigger eventually, I feel like.
for sure, for sure,
Yeah. But
it's a good call.
okay. It was debut in last episode of Layla with or without pants. Okay. So yeah, that's about anything we miss. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of great episodes. Why? Okay, I think. Wait, why is Cobra Commander a better villain than Iron Claw? Iron Claw's pretty cool, actually, but I think he just, unfortunately, the villain can only be as good as their hero, and Iron Claw is fighting GI Joe Extreme, and GI Joe Extreme sucks. Iron Claw's
Right.
cool. GI Joe Extreme sucks. So I think that's the problem. I think it never gets to be good. But he is cool.
Fucking,
I'm into him. I think I would like to see that as a figure in Classified without a doubt.
I would.
But yeah.
I
All
mean,
right. Any last mentions from the group here? Anything we missed here? Great episodes. But overall, I just think the show, it's a great show. Isn't the best cartoon? I'm not really sure. I feel like maybe Robotech or like
yeah, Robotech was
Robotech's
pretty
probably
fucking
pretty good, but I haven't watched it, so I'd have to rewatch it, which I probably will. I feel like there was stuff that was like more. I think it is better than a lot of the cartoons. Like it's definitely better than He-Man. Because He-Man, anything that they make, I think Real Ghostbusters is regarded as a great cartoon. I haven't watched it since.
right, right.
Transformers is also a great cartoon, very comparable in quality. It's the same team basically. So
I
I don't know what
yeah,
what the answer is to what's the best cartoon of the 80s. I think it's definitely in the top 5. I would say it's
right,
definitely in
right,
the
right.
top 5. I don't know that I could say it's the number 1 because I think, maybe Robotech is like more mature and interesting,
For
but
sure.
uh
Dude, I really liked Voltron. Like I
Voltron is
like that
great. It's
shit.
very repetitive, but if you
Yeah,
watch the original Go Lion, which actually I'm doing a video on right now,
yeah,
that shit is
it's an
fucking
excellent video.
terrifying, man. That is
No
terrifying.
shit. So
Yeah.
you're doing a separate video just about Go Lion? Like,
Yeah.
ooh, okay.
Yeah. And how
Consider me.
disturbing Go Lion. Go Lion's so disturbing.
No
It's
shit.
so good.
Dude,
Good point here. Nowhere Man Child says, mentioned Jerry Conway, who wrote a bunch of GI Joes. Cobra Claws are coming to town. That's the Christmas episode. Yeah, so we gotta, yeah, definitely. Jerry Conway died. That's very sad. We also lost Roger Sweet, who was one of the creators of He-Man, recently. But
no shit. Yeah, Voltron was I feel like I haven't really watched it in a while, but I remember being like when he definitely went ill, and it's so funny in the Voltron video where you say it a handful of times where you're like, just pull out the fucking sword already. Like,
yeah,
why are we
pull the sword out. Yeah, yeah.
just pull the sword out? We cut that fucker in half and let's all go home. It's so funny.
Voltron was dark, and the Goal Line literally has cannibalism, like sexual
Wow,
assault. Like it is absolutely horrifying.
that's
It's
crazy.
so far beyond children being lit on fire, like nuclear holocausts.
Oh my god.
It's like one of the most brutal things. It's unbelievable.
Yo,
So
that sounds fucking crazy.
it's great. It's really good too. It has like a whole arc to it. Yeah, Captain Power, Spiral Zone, Real Ghost. I do plan on doing all of these. I've done Silverhawks,
I
but
did like Silverhawks. Now
yeah,
that we are
it
talking
doesn't hold
about
up
it,
very well. That does not hold up.
no,
Oh, Battle of the
no, dude.
Planets, G-Force. That's another one. That's a good one. That's a very good. I think I don't know, but I'll have to watch it.
Like, you know what I did watch recently for the first time in a very long time was the Transformers movie. So the beginning
Yes. Yeah.
is just like crazy.
Yeah.
It's Unicron eating a whole planet. It's nothing short of like, female Transformers holding Transformer babies and just them getting like ripped out of their arms and sucked up to
Yeah.
the laser beam. This shit was crazy, dude. I was like, oh my god, I forgot. And the music was so like, um, the music was almost like nonchalant for the slaughter of an entire planet. But it was cool when they showed like the inner workings of, Unicron as it was happening, and how like those two big things pincered and then like drew it in, and that just like I mean it was definitely cool. But as I kind of skipped through the movie just a little bit, and it seemed like I would like just slide the bar over a little bit to move it up like 10 minutes and see what's going on here. And every time I did that, it would cut into a scene where a bunch of dudes were getting shot and dying. It was crazy. It was like it was like a snuff film almost.
Nowhere Man Charles says, let me know if you ever want me on to chat Joe. It's like Kanan and Mikey will tell you I know my shit. Yeah, hell yeah. Come on. Send me a direct message on either Twitter or Facebook, because there are no direct messages on YouTube. Nice. Well, I guess we covered it all, right? I think we did it 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Pretty good, I guess. Yeah.
That is good. I'll take it. I'll take it. Absolutely. And I feel like it's a pretty universal part of, say, the fandom and the Joe community. The comic books obviously play a huge part, the figures themselves and everything, but I feel like there's a good percentage, like myself included, that the Sunbow cartoon was the center of that, right? Like I definitely had the figures first, but the cartoon is what brought it. I would have loved the figures, and I probably would have wound up in a very similar position, and how much I liked them. But having that cartoon, man, it really wrote the story, especially with characters like Destro, Cobra Commander, the Baroness, with those very unique voices. Like, it would be impossible for my child mind to fill in those blanks from a comic book, right? Where, you've that Destro voice, the Cobra Commander voice, especially. And even still, somebody like Serpentor, you can see him say "this I command" with a bunch of apostrophes after it, but it does not hold a candle to, because whoever did that voice had a great, very powerful voice. He sounded like a total tool. It was perfect. So I don't know. I think the cartoon, it was a nice way for us to pay homage to it. I think it was great.
Nice. Very cool. All right. Well, I guess, yeah. So what you got going on your channel? Anything going on? I'm sure you got a lot.
I can be found Destro Designs for all things GI Joe, Viper Den Studios for my finished photography. That is on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. The YouTube is Destro Designs. The main show live from Viper Den Studios is Saturday at 8 p.m. I've been going off date a little bit. I'm having 2 more shows this week. I accidentally double booked. My brother Dave from Twitter is just a magnificent man. He wants to come on. I chat with him all the time. He's a great guy. We're going to talk toys. And then on Saturday, I have excellent toy photographer Sneaky Figures coming in. He's over on Instagram and Facebook. And then the following week, on the Sunday the 17th, for like a late matinee, I have the Action Shop Master Mate Mylar coming in to talk all things GI Joe and some toy photography. Last weekend was another banger weekend. Also, Laser Pants came in on Friday. That was awesome. We talked about a bunch of different, like some Moe's Mind stuff. His beginnings, how he got up to where he was, and then on Saturday, and it was very gracious with his time. I really appreciated him coming through. And then on Saturday, Yojo Collectibles, who's another just prolific toy photographer, came in, and it's nice to have these people come in and tell us how they got here through the worshiping GI Joes. So it's really been an amazing run, I guess, with yourself included. So yeah, that's usually on Saturdays every week. Stay tuned. Mondays, I love coming here. I'm here, so thankful that you have me on all the time. We always have such a blast. I know I love it. I always look forward to it. Tuesdays, I try to make it to the Figure Fight Club open night. I haven't been there in a few weeks. Just I've had so much other stuff happening. We've got one episode of the Power Hour, which was just something me and Jay Antonio were going to do every now and again. We talked about doing another episode possibly this week, but he lost his voice singing karaoke, so we're going to push that back a little bit. But that's usually we're going to try to do that on Wednesdays. And then, of course, you can see my articles that I drop on Tuesday and Friday for Serpentor's Lair. And then for the first time, I'm going to tease a little something and say I have some big stuff coming from DestroDesigns.com. So stay tuned for more info on that.
Nice. Why is the show ending at 12? No, it's ending at 11:30. It's like 2.5 hours. Yeah, I really honestly I like a 2-hour live stream, an hour and a half. I can't quite get it there because we like to talk. But yeah, I really like the 3-hour ones. They're too long. So I am gonna call it a night. But what do I have go? Always a great show, the Double D's. Who doesn't love Double D's, right?
I like it.
What do I have going on? I am I think I'm working on the mythology of sectors, and I'm working on the mythology of Cobra. So that'll be a little pair, yeah. So a pair with the mythology of GI Joe. So that'll be a good one. And then Cobra Law. I'm gonna be doing a video on Cobra Law. And I guess
I love
it. Yeah,
I love it. That's awesome. And what is Cobra? This is gonna sound like a total idiot. Was Cobra Law in the fucking comic books, or just a? Okay.
Larry Hama hated Cobra Law. He would not.
Okay, nice.
He did write one issue that came with an action figure where Falcon fights Nemesis Enforcer, but he refused to include it. I think wisely. It doesn't really work within the world of what he came up with. So I do like Cobra Law, but I don't. It's not in my lore personally.
Right. Same.
It's alternate lore. I love the Energon universe take on it. It's really good.
No, oh, that's good. Oh, right, because I've seen the Pythona on like a cover or two or something like that. But yeah, no, as an adult, I can appreciate it a lot more. As a kid, I had trouble with it because, like you said, it was just a lot of fucking plays.
Good show tonight. Yes, I think Cobra Commander makes some sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, like actual as a terrorist, I think he makes sense. As a scientist from a ancient civilization from the Himalayas that's been hidden, I don't think he makes any sense, and it's stupid.
Right.
But it's still fun and whatever. I'm not hating on it, but it's not my my take. Is I like my thing. Cobra Commander is a used car salesman who creates a pyramid scheme. I gotta stick to that. Shoot that super chat. Mark dates a clown's daughter is just a drunk on pure nonsense, which is all true. Anyway, I want to rule the world.
You love that horse.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of terrorists. Do they want us to rule the world? That's a good question. Usually they have more specific desires, but kind of, yeah. Who doesn't want to rule the world?
Definitely.
But all right.
Or blow it up. One or the other.
Upper G, you're a fan. I guess some people like Cobra Law now. I think it's coming around. But we should do a live stream on Cobra Law because I don't think you're a fan, right, Michael?
I do. So I wrote a long, scathing article on Serpentor's Lair about it just not being in my canon.
Yeah. I agree. It's not in mine either, but I still like it.
But the story is good. Like how they're like if you took apart my attachment to thinking Cobra Commander came from somewhere else, it's okay. So it's an interesting thing. Like Globulus, even though he flies around that little nutsack, it's still a cool like character. And so is Nemesis Enforcer, Pythona. Listen, Pythona is part of one of my favorite parts of anything GI Joe, and that's the beginning of the movie, right? Where she infiltrates the Terrordrome. It's absolute cinema there, just like complete cinema. And so I definitely do appreciate it. And believe me, I got plenty to say about it, that's for sure. Because it is.
Bobby Bella loves Cobra Law, yeah, which is clear. But Joshua Blackburn, I agree with you 100%. I'm not a big on it. I don't hate it. I kind of love it, but my Cobra Commander is not an alien, I would agree with.
Right.
Don't think he just isn't. How many terrorists pushing pyramid schemes in reality exist? I don't know, but probably a couple. I don't know. It's probably more than as far-fetched as maybe we need some. I don't know. I'm saying, all right. Well, we should call it a night, though. Let's try to break that 2.5. So flies around in that nut sack. Very accurate. All right. Well, we'll call it a night tonight. See you next week. Next week again, we have R.A. Rain, Destro Designs. We're going to be talking about the what would a good movie look like. All right.
Nice.
We'll
Love
see
it.
you all
Awesome.
next time.